Wendy Bell Radio is live.
I don't know why that tickles me so much because same with Kelly when he's like, anywho, on Bad Joke Friday. I don't know what. You know what? I'm throwing it down, Brock. I think we need to have two different opens today, aside from the first one that we always play. I think you need to choose two different ones. I think we need to roll the dice. We need to spice it up. We need a fresh. I want another Rush Limbaugh one. Hey, Kelly Pigeon, what are you doing?
What?
You're snowed in, dude. I know that. Anyway, hey, so last night, I'm teasing, by the way. So kind of. Anyway, so.
Yeah, right. There's truth to everything.
Look, I'm a crazy woman, but I admit it. Like, I know it. And I admit it. And I'm like, look, this is totally emotional and completely unreasonable. And then the men in my life were like, well, you're okay. You at least admit that you're a lunatic. So we were going to do the thing last night. I was going to do the thing last night and I was going to live stream it. We were going to not necessarily infiltrate. They put it on YouTube, this Indivisible group. You know, they're funded, dark money, deep pockets, other countries, I'm sure. Yeah, right. ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union.
The kicker about it was right on the opening screen says, this is not legal advice. And I was just like, what are you doing?
So anyway, I was telling Joe, I was at home and I was upstairs on our bed and that's where I write because there's a beautiful window and I can look out at the street and it's just total chaos with the snow. So I'm sitting in there and I'm looking out the window and I'm writing my script and so I'm done and I go downstairs to help him make dinner and I'm like, well, I've got an 8:00 thing. He's like, why? What are you doing? And I was like, well, we're going to sit in this Indivisible thing. They're like training people on how to be militant or whatever and how to resist ICE. And he's like, and he didn't say anything. And we were foostering for a while and he was milling around. He's like, I really don't want you to do that. It makes me uncomfortable and I'm worried for your safety. And I was like, enough said. Enough said. I've learned after 27 years, you do not argue with your husband over things when he's caring for your safety.
Well,
whether or not it's reasonable, and I think it is for him, I get it.
I would say this.
I get it.
If it was a closed thing where your face was showing,
I get it. He didn't know I was there. I was going to be there as my married name and not my maiden name. But anyway.
But when they put it on YouTube, I almost went live.
Right?
Just to give like a play-by-play.
So tell me what it was. So you were there. You hung out on this. So again, yesterday we were talking about live streaming this thing that I've joined Indivisible. So when No Kings has training or protests or what have you, I get an email. Which is fine. I get to see what they're doing and what they're up to. And it's their God-given right to do that. Whatever. However.
Going somewhere is one thing.
Right. Doing it online. So tell them what you saw.
I just saw a bunch. Common sense. They went through the first slide. It was 6 things. First off, lady gets on, says, as a former undocumented. And I'm like, oh, so you did it the right way.
Yeah, you became a citizen. You went through the classes. You got the, you took the test. You had a sponsor.
Then they went through and talked about the things you shouldn't do while recording. Mm-hmm. And it was all common sense.
Was it don't take a gun?
There were 6. And Purdy fit 5 of the 6. And the only one he didn't fit was don't record while driving because they can take you for that. He wasn't driving. But he wasn't driving.
He went 5
It was
6.
Don't interfere.
Right.
Don't get in the faces. Don't argue with. Stay far enough away.
Right.
And I'm like, this dude, here was the big one. Keep your hands visible. Who out there on the left or right, one of the first things you hear from a cop is hands, hands, hands. They don't know what you have. And I'm not saying Alex Purdy should die. No,
Freddie.
No, Freddie. No one should.
I agree.
But
there are a million ways that should have gone a different way.
The minute I can't see your hands and we're scuffling.
I think it's very interesting that you've got the Wall Street Journal editorial board weighing in on the guilt and innocence of the people involved. And it's like, you know what? I think we all need to shut the hell up and let them investigate what happened. I'm not going to sit there and armchair quarterback you.
It's way too easy.
I'm not there. I have no idea what those people have been through, as in the ICE agents.
And I've been told by police, multiples, local, state, me personally, If you shoot,
Hmm.
you empty your magazine.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot
Dead.
yes.
Dead. I don't need you. No, I'm not. Yeah. I don't even have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
I just want to say that the whole situation was completely preventable on so many fronts. And blaming law enforcement who have been dealt a ridiculous hand by the likes of morons like Tim Walz.
Yeah.
You know, enough is enough. Enough
They're
is
right.
enough.
ICE isn't trained for crowd control.
Thank you.
Local police is.
But they're not there.
But they're not there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense conservatism prevails here. Every single weekday, noon until 3 Eastern time. I'm delighted you're here. Look, we do something very unusual on this program. You might want to do it, you might not, and that's fine. But we have an app, and on that app, we show you the whole show, all 3 hours, commercial breaks and all. And if you fancy yourself sometimes a little tinfoiler a little bit, you might want to get wendybellradio.com and join the live video stream because we do drift off the deep end every now and again when we're off the air. So it's great to be with you. It is a frigid Tuesday here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where still the snow is all over the place and it's not going anywhere soon. Welcome home. I'm delighted you're here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. So we got a packed show for you today. Look, this is what we do. We give you a rundown. We show you everything that's on it. We give you the links. We tell you the sources. We play for you the sound bites, tell you how to find them. And what's the goal? The goal is for you to decide, right? All this stuff going on in Minneapolis, the stuff with the shooting of Alex Preddy, Renee Good, the things that should not have happened and could have been stopped by the people themselves who are now dead. And others in the audience, right? We can sit here, we can go over. I'm not there. I'm not an ICE agent. I'm not an angry leftist. You know, I'm not involved in that. And so we're going to wait for all of that to flush out, right? But it's interesting. President Trump is now on the ball, and he's obviously been paying attention to what's going on. And we're going to talk about this change in tune a little bit on Tim Walz and Jacob Fry's part in Minneapolis and Minnesota. I want to start with this. I saw something in my youngest son the other day that I realize I'm starving for in quote unquote leaders. So my son Bobby is terrified of needles. Something happened obviously a million years ago when we were at the pediatrician, and he has just ever since then. I mean, he was a little muncher. He gets all worked up. He knows he's got a well visit or what have you coming up. And he would literally stress about knowing he would have to get shots. And he would stress about him for days. And he would work himself up in knots. And I would watch him and he would turn ghastly white. And he would be embarrassed because he realized it was kind of silly and irrational, but it completely devoured him. And the day that we would go to the doctor, and he's a twin, right? So his twin brother, Chris, is like, he's respectful of it, but also needles him like, no pun, sorry. He's like, come on, let's go get our shots. And Bobby literally starts to sweat. So you can imagine how weird it was as my now almost 18-year-old son, Bobby, came downstairs the other day on a snow day. It was a cold weather day before this snowstorm hit in Pittsburgh. And the temperatures were pretty cold. And so the public schools had delayed the start of school by 2 hours. And because our buses are the same as theirs, our high school was delayed as well. So it's 8 a.m. And Bobby's coming downstairs. He's wearing his button down and his tie. They go to Catholic school. And he's got his khakis on and everything. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, it's the blood drive. And I was like, okay, where's the punchline, right? Like, Bobby, blood drive, these two things do not exist in the same environment, right? And he's like, it's the school blood drive. And I know nobody's going to show up. And I think I should. And I was like, why? And he said, well, because I said I would. Interesting. Because you said you would. I'm like, my son, Bobby, who hates needles, is going to sit there and watch a giant needle go into his arm and have blood come out of it and not have a conniptio? Really? And I tried not to make a fuss about it. I'm like, oh, well, that's really great. So let me get this straight. You committed to it. You had every reason to bail on it because it started at 8 a.m., even with the school delay, the snow delay or the cold weather delay. And yet you're saying and doing what you said you were going to do. And I was like, that's so interesting to me. And he said, well, I told them that I would be there. So I'm going. And he got in the car and went to the blood drive and did his thing. That was the biggest development in this fear of my youngest son. Why are you going? Because I said I would. Because it matters to me. Because I want to prove to myself that I can get over this. And he did. Like, that matters as a young man, young woman, right? Facing things that make you uncomfortable, facing insecurities or irrational fears or what have you, whatever your jam is, we all have them. But to be a teenager and to buckle down, not because you wanted to score extra credit points, not because you hoped it would curry favor with some teacher at the school you were having problems with, but because at the end of the day, you wanted to look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, no matter how well I did it, and apparently there were problems with the woman getting the needle in and getting the blood out. And it was this big hassle. Like, it couldn't have gone smoothly, right? I was like, oh, I wanted to hug him and kiss him, and they don't want that from me, right? So, and I had to look in the mirror and to be like, I did that. I mean, it's a little thing, but I did that, right? And the reason why I'm telling you this story, like, we expect from one another basic behavior, right? Basic ways that we treat each other. And when we're trying to find somebody who says they want to lead us, whether it's our neighborhood or our city, our state, or our country, you want that person who's like, look, because I said so, because I said I would. And I'm doing it now. And we don't have that right now in so many of our states. We don't have what my almost 18-year-old son, Bobby, has. And it's the expectation of ourselves to stand by our word, to do what we say we're going to do, to deliver to people, to care, yes, about other people. But to realize at the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror and you have to be comfortable with what you see looking back at you. Tim Walz is not one of these leaders. This is not a guy. I don't know if he's a bad guy, a good guy. It seems like he's a bad guy in my mind. But I can't really see how he comes home at night, right? And looks himself in the mirror. Now, something happened interestingly yesterday. And President Trump had a phone conversation about what's going on in Minneapolis. And they came to some meeting of the minds, and things are changing. And we're going to talk about that. But I want you to hear changing Tim Walz, almost like he looked in the mirror and didn't like what he saw back. Here he is on a local radio program talking about this phone conversation with President Trump. Tell me, does this sound like the Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who's been calling Donald Trump a fascist, a Nazi, a dictator? You tell me.
I would characterize, along with the president, I think it was productive.
Yeah, so let's start with that call. I understand that you initiated it. Is that correct?
We asked for it a while back, and this was the time they came through. I got a early morning call from the president's chief of staff, who we have been communicating with regularly, several times a day, myself or my team speaking with Susie Wiles, and she said the president wants to speak with you, and they called back in to us, and we spoke for about 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes.
Did the president make any firm commitments that the course of this immigration operation will change?
Well, I asked two things were clear. First of all, I asked that we have a fair and independent investigation into the murder of both Renee Good and Alex, and that we have to be able to do that. And he said, we'll look at that. We'll take a look at that. And I said, we just have to reduce these numbers. We started out with that. And he pledged that, look, I'm going to send Tom Holman in. We'll do things differently. He explained to me how he thought it was very successful in Louisiana, very successful in Louisville, which I shared with him, but ICE did not shoot anybody there, and the presence was much smaller and much more targeted, like they were doing actual ICE work. This is, as we've seen, massive numbers. So it was cordial. I think he understood this. I told him that this is unsustainable, and I said, quite honestly, no one wants this, and I hope that's true. No one wants this.
What about the investigation? I mean, you asked for him to allow state investigators into the fold regarding the deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Macklin Good. What precisely did he say in
He said
response?
he would look into it, and he said, look into it. I hear you. We'll look into it.
And what if that doesn't happen?
Well, then we'll keep pushing. I mean, this is, and I want to be very careful here. I don't want to, and one of the reasons that I am staying a little behind the scenes and working constantly on those calls is that part of this is about how you're viewed by this White House. I think the listeners here in Minnesota know that I'm somewhat of a lightning rod for this administration. I certainly don't want to be that, but I've had to be speaking up about the atrocities that we're seeing and pushing back. So at this point in time, the president certainly seemed earnest. He pledged to me that we would do this. As I said, we've been in communication over the weekend with his team pretty extensively. I'm understanding now that, and he said he would have Tom Holman in here, and we'll be in touch, I hope, later tonight. I'm understanding that Mr. Bovino and Kristi Noem are no longer going to be here. I would take that a step further. I would hope they're no longer in jobs because they've helped foster this. And we spoke a little bit, and I tried to make the case about Alex. I just spent a set-down hour with his colleague.
So I wanted to talk to him about the guy who lost his life. He couldn't hold himself back from taking a dig, of course, at Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino from Border Security. Now, I wanted you to hear that in its entirety. Different than we've heard Tim Walz, yes? Are we deceived by this? Has he been humbled? Is he making a deal with President Trump? I'll tell you what you need to know. I just don't want to go down with the ship. You decide. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So I find it so interesting that my 17-year-old boy can look at things that are horrible for him, that drive him nutty, and that are deeply anxiety creating, and decide to do something unusual, follow through with it, have it go haywire, but come home and be like, I'm glad I did that. I want to look at Tim Walz and be like, are you glad about all of the things? Like, if you could wind all of this back to the beginning of these protests, to before Renee Good, would you? And the answer is no, because it was necessary to cover up all of the criminality. And that still is not what this governor is talking about. That is, however, the number one focus of this president. Got to get to the bottom of the fraud. Got to carve out the offenders. Got to prove what they've done. Get on it, right? And every protester, go home.
Well,
Go home.
He's let Minnesota burn. You say from what I see, from what everybody sees.
Yes.
We know he's corrupt.
Yes.
He let
not a lightning rod.
No, you let Minnesota burn.
Yes.
You shot paintballs at people for leaving their house during COVID. I mean, like,
come on, you have the most radical policies in the country. You're an abject China sympathizer. He's a Marxist.
Yeah.
He's a communist.
He's giving you every reason to think he's a bad guy.
But does he not look at is there no looking? I mean, does he look in the mirror at night and he's like,
and you know what? You're a woman of your word. And that's all you really have.
100%.
Right? When it comes down to it, it's all you really have. Look how I can say this about my parents. People with their word. That's what I was raised with.
At the end of the day, that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right? Who can you depend on?
Look at his daughter.
Who can you depend on? You can depend on Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF if you're in southwestern Pennsylvania. No, Ireland Contracting is the home exterior stuff, right? So your siding, you need new siding, you want to put some on, perfect. New windows, whole house, new windows, absolutely. They got all of them, okay? They'll come to you, samples, everything. New roofing, absolutely sure. But there's also stuff inside that you can do right now with Dan, their son, who's their electrician. So if you have some stuff and you're in Pittsburgh, you got a couple wires, you got some things you want to do. Maybe you want to put in some new lights, got to hang something. Dan's your guy. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. I kind of feel like it's my job to get him jobs right now because I just love him. He's great. And he's been at my house multiple times and he's just a peach and you're going to love it. It's great to see really hardworking local guys. And there are a lot of them, and I like to promote them. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Yeah, his daughter's a whack job, Tim Walz.
Yeah.
Whack-a-doodle.
The apple doesn't fall.
I wanted you to hear that whole thing. That is a contrite Tim Walz.
Mm-hmm. That's oh no.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember Operation Chaos? Rush Limbaugh's Operation Chaos. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I do. It was 2008. It was when Obama was up against John McCain. And John McCain chose Sarah Palin and Barack Obama, right? And so Rush wanted everybody who was a Republican who could, in the states that they could, to either cross over in the primaries, and he thought that Obama was more likable. Most people didn't like Hillary, and she was a liar, known liar back then in the day. And the feeling about her was poor, but he wanted those two to be fighting so that John McCain could go out as the Republican and become more well-known and get more people paying attention to him, et cetera. Operation Chaos now is to do whatever you can to destroy, to upend normal mores of behavior, to disrupt neighborhoods, to bang on metal pans, to, create noise, disrupt the functioning and the sanity and the normalcy of society under Donald Trump. It's bananas, and it's obvious, it's counterproductive, and it pisses the average American off, yes? So now there's Tim Walz. Yeah, I talked to the president. He still takes his digs at him, but he's a lot more contrite. He's a lot more humble, right? Something's going on there, of course. I want you to hear Anonymous, one of our favorite people again. And Anonymous is looking at Minnesota and says, did Democrats engineer a system there so they could cheat? Because Minneapolis didn't become one of the largest fraud ecosystems by accident. I'm not taking Tim Walz, goofy guy, goofy teacher guy, coach guy. I don't believe any of that. I think there's something a lot darker and more disturbing there. Here's Anonymous.
It becomes reasonable to ask whether the system was merely exploited or designed to be exploitable. That is the allegation. That a political machine may have engineered conditions where cheating the system was tolerated, protected, and politically useful. And when reporters and whistleblowers started pulling the thread, the response wasn't transparency, it was delay, deflection, minimization, breakdowns in order, organized resistance, and escalating street unrest. The allegation is that Minneapolis did not become the center of one of the largest fraud ecosystems in modern American history by accident. The allegation is that it required a system, a structure, and people in and out of government willing to run it. And when you examine who built and protected that system, a pattern emerges. Not local stewardship, but imported control. Minnesota's Attorney General, Keith Ellison, from Detroit, Michigan. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, from Virginia. The Minneapolis Police Chief, Brian O'Hara, brought in from Massachusetts. Attorney General, Mayor, Police Chief. And the Governor, Tim Walz, presiding over it all. That alone does not prove wrongdoing, but it does raise a legitimate question. Why does a state with deep political talent repeatedly place outsiders in control of its most sensitive institutions? At the same time, the largest fraud allegations in its history are unfolding. I'll say it again. The allegation is that the system was designed to be exploitable. The allegation is that Somali refugee settlement was intentionally concentrated, not dispersed, changing the political makeup of a city and state permanently. No blending, no assimilation, just change. The allegation is that this concentration created an environment without meaningful checks and balances, where massive cheating could occur at scale. And the allegation is that Democrat political leadership benefited from that arrangement by importing and concentrating a like-minded population willing to exploit the system. That conclusion is not drawn from prejudice. It's drawn from patterns, money flows, and federal indictments already on the record. If the allegation is right, it explains everything. My friends, we are all anonymous, and when systems are engineered, populations are concentrated, and billions disappear, people are allowed to notice.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. damn states.
Wow. And the pattern is clear. You guys remember the former KGB agent, Yuri Bezmenov? This was like 1970s, 1980s, talking about ideological subversion to cover up everything that you know is going on behind the scenes.
What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow.
Very slowly, and it takes decades. We could go back decades and see what's been going on to create the newest young generation of clone troopers, ladies and gentlemen. Some people are brainwashed, others see it happening. Why? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about President Trump saying it ends now, what he wants from Minnesota, and what he and his administration are going to do to stop the violence and dig into the fraud. Next. Okay, I'm super geeked. I'm going to talk to you guys about Cozy Earth right now. So Cozy Earth has these beautiful pajamas, all right? When I talk about Cozy Earth as I'm 55, I think postmenopausal, I don't know, somewhere in that cycle of fun, right? And it's matters at night when you're sleeping. And if you're a guy and you don't like getting hot at night, temperature regulating sheets made from something called viscose from bamboo. It is the most decadent, luxurious, fantastic sleep experience of your life at CozyEarth.com, right? They give you a 100-night sleep guarantee. Like on day 99, if you're like, I don't really think so. They're like, all right, give you your money back. You won't want to get your money back. But they have pajamas, and the pajamas sold out over Christmas. And so they have one now. CozyEarth.com, promo code Wendy BOGO. You're going to buy one, you're going to get one free. You got a wife and a daughter? Boom. You've got a wife and a mistress? Boom. Just kidding. You've got whatever. You get one free. They do not do this. And this is only good through the 8th of February. They want to make sure you get this in hand for Valentine's Day, whether or not you celebrate Valentine's Day, giving someone you love, or even treating yourself to the most phenomenal stuff. So Michael calls me the other day. We're talking. This is Saturday. And we're talking, and his birthday's coming up at the end of February. And I was like, so what do you think you want? And he's like, Mom, those pillows you have in the basement, in that bedroom I sleep in when I'm home. I'm like, oh, Cozy Earth. He's like, and those sheets. I'm like, oh, yeah, Cozy Earth. He's like, I'd really like to get some Cozy Earth sheets. And I was like, do you know how expensive those are? And he's like, no. And I was like, well, there's a great discount. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get, that's going to be his gift. It's going to be the sheets. It's going to be the pillows. It is unlike any experience you have ever had sleeping. And ultimately, as a grown-up, you get to a point where you're like, I'm tired of buying $60 sheets at Home Goods. I'm going to get something that I'm going to use. And it's a 10-year guarantee, by the way. 10 years. So in year 9, if it starts to do something, you can be like, hello, I need a new one. And there'll be no problem. CozyEarth.com, promo code Wendy BOGO. I'm only supposed to talk about them once this week, so I'm not going to share more about it than that. But this is a very unusual opportunity, and you know how I feel about Cozy Earth.
Oh, boy. Is the company buying him a birthday present? Because you could get him the PJs too, and then there's a free one.
Oh, you want your own PJs? You want jams? Buck. Are you
the sheets are fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I gave them to him as a gift, and I bought them. They didn't give them to me.
You would think.
And you thought I was kind of dippy at first.
I'm like, oh boy, thanks.
Hey, that's great. I'm like, no, you'll call
that
me
was
later.
over a year ago. Literally, I've not put other sheets on my bed.
And like you say,
if you
best is
put them in the dryer
yes.
about 15 minutes before you go to bed.
After you take a healthy cell REM sleep,
you don't even.
Lights out.
You know what? You don't even need it. I'm not a top sheet guy.
Lights out. A lot of people aren't. They're just a
I'm
fitted
not.
sheet with a blanket or whatevs.
Yeah, you
when
will
you
be.
feel that on your skin, you're like,
yeah.
It is unlike anything else you've ever slept on. I'm just.
You
want to
sleep naked.
You honestly do. I'm not a big naked person. It just
Neither
feels really kind of weird. It's just nothing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I think some people do it and some people don't. I'm a donor.
But
I could see it. I could see it. It is
I could see
scrumptious. So CozyEarth.com, promo code Wendy BOGO. My goal is for a lot of you guys to do this. Look, their stuff is expensive. I'm going to tell you, it's not cheap. This makes it so much better, right? And I think they're coming back and they're going to have a discount some other time. So I'm hoping that we get lots of feedback out of this promo, Wendy BOGO, and then they're like, hey, we want to come back. Be like, duh.
I never thought I'd be excited about sheets.
I know.
I mean, really, I'm like, whatever.
Don't doubt me. Never again. So Brock doesn't know if we're going to be able to squeeze in all of this stuff. Andy made me carry.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen.
Wait.
Knew it. He made me carry the box.
I mean, this big box.
First thing I said, do you want me to carry that? No.
I went.
Oh, please.
No. I'll get it.
And who held on to you while you were stepping up? So, you know what? You.
Oh, that's naughty. Don't.
I know, but
naughty.
I knew you were going to say it. I mean, halfway in, I'm like, so you're going to tell everybody I didn't carry the box?
Let's get up to 2,000 rumbles. Let's go. Where are we on our follower count? 82.6. We are limping through the 80s.
We are 7 away from 82.7.
Oh my goodness. Can somebody please click the follow button underneath my fabulous face? And please, I don't even know where we were on the leaderboard. I didn't even check. I'm sorry, Alan. I didn't even look. Let's see what he says. Number 5. We have 99.7 thousand views.
And thank you,
99,
real quick. Thank you to the people who tuned in the pet show. We had almost 100,000 views. This
I know you blew this show out of the water. Makes me.
Well, I mean.
President Trump obviously has been paying attention to all this stuff going on in Minnesota. And he feels that taking out Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino from Border Patrol and taking in and instead sending in Tom Homan, who has 40, 50 years experience through presidents all the way back to Ronald Reagan, dealing with the border and with the delicate issues of immigration. And so these changes are happening, and there was a phone call yesterday. So I want to start with this, though, because I find it interesting that Minnesota cops have surrendered the entire city, like entire city blocks, to lawless rioters, essentially. They just stand down. And this is where Trump was like, look, you've got to enforce the law there. And you cannot claim to be a sanctuary for criminals. It should be a sanctuary for citizens. And you're twisting this, and you need to get it right. And I want to start with this. This is what they're up against, ICE agents. In Minneapolis, local and state police allowed rioters to block roads and attack a hotel during demonstrations against immigration enforcement. You know why they were attacking the hotel? Because the border guy, Greg Bovino, who apparently is this like lightning rod catalyst of all things triggered toxic protester. You know, he's been just assaulted and assailed, and it's almost like he's too much of a lightning rod and needs to be extracted from the situation. I want you to hear what these protesters were doing as a man on the street, literally across the street from Greg Bovino and the other border agents' hotel. They're outside. This is the way the left protests. It's childish. It's malignant. It's disruptive on purpose. And they take glee in it, which I simply don't understand. So listen to this man on the street kind of giving you his representation of what's going on.
It is extremely loud here at the Home 2 Street Hilton, St. Paul. And check this out. Roads have been blocked off. I don't see any local law enforcement. And they already started to vandalize the business and try to enter the lobby. There's hotel security there. And they believe ICE agents are staying here. This is something that we've seen recently here in the St. Paul, Minneapolis area. And look at all the graffiti on the windows already. We still haven't seen any local law enforcement. We'll keep you updated.
That's just crazy. I mean, literally, that is how you protest federal agents being on site to track down criminal illegal aliens and put a community in danger. It's completely pathological. I mean, it sounds absolutely idiotic. So after that, right, Trump calls Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, and pulls Bovino out of Minneapolis, sends Tom Homan to Minnesota. And this is what happened. President Donald Trump announced Monday night that he had a very good conversation with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, and that Border Czar Tom Homan would be meeting with the official on Tuesday. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino and a group of agents are expected to leave the Minneapolis area while Border Czar Tom Homan is being sent to oversee ICE operations in the city. This is what Trump put out on Truth Social. Just had a very good telephone conversation with Mayor Jacob Fry of Minneapolis. Lots of progress is being made! Exclamation point. Tom Homan will be meeting with him tomorrow in order to continue the discussion. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Optimistic, positive, no slights, no little, digs at these people. We are going to fix the problem because it's not sustainable. Later, he puts this out after he calls, or I guess Tim Walz called him. This is what the president put out on Truth later. Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call. And we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I! Exclamation point. We have had such tremendous success in D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana. Virtually every other place that we have touched, and even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it better! Exclamation point. President Donald Trump, he's very optimistic. Here's what Caroline Levitt then said after those developments. She holds a press conference, White House press briefing, and she's like, look, this is not complicated. You are part of the United States of America. The federal government is asking you as a state, you got to crack down on what's going on. You have to cooperate with us because there are dangerous people we need to remove from your communities. This is what Caroline Levitt said the president asked of Tim Walz and Jacob Frey.
Number one, Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number two, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota.
That's code for do your jobs. You need to be there to do your jobs. And if the job is done, we leave. And she continues about these sanctuary cities for criminals. Enough with those.
ICE and local law enforcement can peacefully work together, as they are effectively doing in so many other states and jurisdictions. Additionally, President Trump is calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation ending sanctuary cities once and for all. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding citizens only, not for dangerous illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws and do not belong here. We hope Governor Walz will do the right thing and continue to work with President Trump to keep the American people safe following their call this morning.
100%. Okay, so what has precipitated this change of heart from Walz and Frey? Well, DC Drano, who is the lawyer Rogan O'Handley, he's got a soundbite coming up in a little bit. Very smart guy, very close to the administration. He writes on X yesterday, what a coincidence that Tim Walz called President Trump to work together on the riots only after the Signalgate chats were exposed. The rope is tightening on Minnesota fraud. So, the independent journalist Cam Higbee was able to infiltrate the Signal chat, like 1,000 people on it, administrators that go from local government to state government, including allegedly the lieutenant governor of Minnesota, on these chats for ICE Watch to help people, ne'er-do-wells in the community, hassle, track down, stalk, and get in the face of immigration agents trying to do their freaking jobs. Now, this is what I want. This is what I want you to hear, because there's a young woman out there who sees it all, and she's like, you guys know what's happening. They know they're cooked. They know it's all about fraud. All of these smokescreen protests aren't going to change that. And this Signal thing has completely exposed it. Listen.
Signal chat leak last night. Does this woman look familiar? How about now? How about now? I can't wait any longer. You know who that is? That's a campaign advisor to Governor Tim Walz. This is another conservative Christmas. This looks really great for our midterms. This is Amanda Kohler, found in a leaked Signal chat, leaked by Cam Higbee out there doing the Lord's work. She was in a Signal chat. She was an admin of the chat, and this chat organized the protest on the airport. This chat is actively, as we speak, doxing ICE agents. And you know who one of the admins is? Tim Walz's campaign advisor. Now there are also rumors, so far unconfirmed, but it's not looking great, that Tim Walz's lieutenant governor is also in the Signal chat. Isn't she running for governor of Minnesota? Now, some people have said, well, there's about 700 to 750 people in that chat. How can you say they're all guilty? And to that I say, well, the same way you incriminated 1,200 people who were present at J6, whether or not they did anything. More updates to this as we find them out. If I do get confirmation that the lieutenant governor was in this chat and is guilty of any crimes, I'll let y'all know.
Again, curious that the one thing nobody is talking about is the fraud and the waste and the abuse. The Somalians, Nick Shirley, all of it. They need you so busy doing other things. But Kash Patel says the FBI is investigating this Signal chat, this back channel private conversation with certain users who worked specifically to disrupt and get in the way of ICE operations in Minneapolis. Here's Kash Patel.
The Signal chat group is information we collect from the public because we repeatedly request the public provide us with information they have. And what we are going to do is what we have been doing across the country under President Trump's leadership to deliver this historic success from year to year. It's not a trust me situation. It's a look at the last year. It's a look at what we did when the FBI opened up their task force in the state of Virginia under President Trump and our great partners at DOJ and the Attorney General. We wiped out crime in the state, and we're going to do that in every single city. We've done it for the whole year. And on this type of specific investigation, what you do, generally speaking, is you send out subpoenas, you collect data, you put people in grand juries, and you find out who broke the law. And if anyone broke the law and incited violence, remember, that's the key here. We are not going after people and infringing on their freedom of speech to peacefully protest. We are definitely not going after people on their Second Amendment right to bear arms. Only if you incite violence and or threaten to do harm to law enforcement officials and break the law in any other way does it become an investigatory matter. So this Signal chat is something that we, the FBI, are looking at and spearheading.
100%. How high does it go? How deep does it go? And remember, the objective of all of this madness is exactly what Yuri Bezmenov said in the very beginning. It's like the KGB of the good old days, probably still today out there. It's all ideological subversion. It is ideological warfare. Make people get off their game, focus on something completely different, create a new normal, twist them inside out and upside down, tell them they're stupid if they are, seeing for themselves what's going on. Also, that whatever you're actually doing doesn't get paid attention to. And what isn't being paid attention to, of course, is the ripoff, the fleecing of the American taxpayer at the hand of Somalis and others in that state. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, they sound so lovely. You guys love these people as neighbors? I want to tell you about some of the fine human beings ICE is in Minneapolis to remove, right? And then Harry Enton with a poll that I think kind of left him gobsmacked. Oh, Harry. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh, Harry. All right. So today I was lamenting to Brock. I was mad at Blood Flow 7. This stuff has encouraged my trainer, Mary Beth, who is the devil right now, to increase my bench press to 25 pounds. 25-pound weights. Okay, chicken arms, 20 pounds recently that's pretty good for me with good form, multiple reps. Yeah. No, she's been cranking me up. Last week it was 22 and a half pounds. Today it's 25 pounds. And she's like, well, I don't know what you want me to tell you. You're able to do it. And I'm like, damn them. And Juvenon, bloodflow7.com. I'm telling you what, this is one of the greatest changes to my routine over the last year. I'll tell you without equivocation. Nitric oxide inside this is what makes your blood vessels open up. It makes blood flow so much more freely all across your body. And you're like, well, who cares? Like, what does that do? Give it 48 hours and then See how much you have energy to do. Blood Flow 7 is phenomenal with chores. If you work out, if you do anything strenuous, or if you just want to feel fantastic and sleep like a boulder at the end of the day. And by the way, not be like at 3:00 in the afternoon. If you do work out, this is what you need to get with it. Peak NAD Plus. You put these together. There's some enzymes and some reactions going on in your body, and you need to replenish, the powerhouse of your cells. You put these together, and you have a unstoppable 1-2 punch of stamina, focus, and drive. I'm just going to say it. I haven't felt more alert, and I haven't felt stronger and more capable, and it just makes you feel confident. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Brock's on the Alpha Gold male, same sort of idea, except it takes into account testosterone with men, and it's a game changer. Game changer. Alpha Gold male. So go to bloodflow7.com. Nice little discount for you there if you do the /Wendy. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. You'll love it. 25 pounds. It's a lot. She takes him and gives him to me and puts him on my chest while I'm on my back. And I'm like, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do these. And she's like, only 15 of them. And I'm like, are you spotting me real close by? Because at about 10, it's like, blah, 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 blah. But it makes a difference. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. What's going on, Brock?
Someone's saying the Wendy BOGO isn't working. It's the link that they gave me.
Okay, let's take a look at that.
I'm looking. Pajamas. Wait, it was on the sets, right?
Yes, the PJ
Lounge sets.
So it's just Cozy Earth. You don't, CozyEarth.com. You don't have a slash or anything. Let's see if I go into women, and I'm going to go into best-selling sleepwear. Yes. Okay. Yeah, they're expensive. Worth it. All right, I'm going to add it to my bag. Let's see. Add to cart. I would look good in those. Just kidding.
I think you should do the men's to find out.
I'm going to add this and see Wendy. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends. All right, so let's talk about who ICE is there in Minneapolis and in other cities to find. And if the optics of the operation there, because it's a little heavy-handed with the numbers of people, with the federal agents, and that's causing problems with the crowds. And the crowds are causing problems with the federal agents. And you have Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, and Donald Trump on the phone all talking. And Trump's like, okay, we'll peel back some of the people, and I'll send Tom home. And he's a wonderful blank slate. He can get to the bottom of things. You get your people to go home. Freaking go home. Go to work. Do you people work? Go eat a sandwich. Take a walk. Hang out with somebody. Read a book. Pet your cats. Whatever you want to do. But let us do our jobs. This is why. Just a couple of the names of the people who've been plucked off of the streets. And this is exactly what we've wanted, ladies and gentlemen. People who are affiliated with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Anybody? Is that okay with you? My page is not loading, so I can't read you that story as I struggle with that. Let's dial in some Harry Enton. How many Americans? All right? Knowing nothing about the people who ICE is supposedly trying to track down and arrest and bounce out of our country and send home. Criminal illegals. Oh, here it comes. So I see a picture of these. Oh, it's seven guys. They don't look like Americans. Oh, that's racist. No, they're members of freaking terror networks, including ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the Islamic Republic Guard Corps of Iran and MS-13. What are they known for doing? Kidnapping, rape, murder, pedophilia, all this stuff. Do you want them gone? Because I do. I could tell you their names, but I don't really think you care. I don't either. I want them gone. Can we get the protesters out of the way? Harry Enton was like, look, if you're on the fence about how people feel about immigration, this is wild, because we asked kind of an in-your-face, bold question of these respondents. We got a pretty surprising, uniform answer. Harry Enton.
Yeah, sometimes I like blunt questions because they sort of get at the underlying feelings that people have. So this is about as blunt a question as you can get. Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
So we've gotten to this point where it's not just we want the criminals gone. We want all of them who are here illegally gone. And all of the numbers, 55% pluralities and higher. It ain't even close. Tim Walz, are you paying attention? And then Harry Enton continues. The CNN news babe kind of gets it. She goes, look, so we want fewer people coming to America, period. Bing, 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 bing.
Feelings towards immigration in this country, feelings towards undocumented immigrants and deporting all of them have become considerably more hawkish. And I think that gives Donald Trump much more leverage to go with the American people and sort of have these hawkish, some might say harsh, different rhetoric and also issue-based sort of going after immigrants who are here illegally. Want immigration levels decreased. This includes legal and illegal immigration. Look at this. Last year, 55%. That is the highest level since the 9/11 aftermath. You go back just to 2020.
And this again, legal and illegal. So people want less people coming into the country.
Exactly. They want less people coming into the country. Look at that. That's a 14-point rise from 2023. You go back to 2016 when Donald Trump again was running for president the first time. It was 38%. That's a 17-point rise. So the bottom line is more folks want people who are here illegally deported, and their overall feelings towards immigration have become considerably more hawkish.
63% say they're okay with deporting immigrants who are here illegally and arrived in the last 4 years. 87% are good with deporting immigrants who are here illegally and have criminal records.
I mean, again, at base value, the system doesn't work. And it purposefully failed under Joe Biden, and I doubt he even knew. I doubt he even had a clue about the millions upon millions of people, none of whom seemed to come over, right? Most recently, right at the end of the administration. It was all young, fighting age, single dudes, right? You can't tell us that we're wrong when we say we do not like that. We do not want to pay for that. And when governors like Tim Walz and Gavin Newsom and Kathy Hochul lie to your face and tell you that your money isn't going to people we didn't ask to come here, but Democrats did because their base is gone, right? Tim Walz, do you look in the mirror? Do you see what you've allowed and how disappointed this country is? When we come back, holy cow, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is already here. Well, Minneapolis is a top-down insurgency operation. That's AKA domestic terror. And if you think I'm kidding, no, I'm not. We've got proof next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
All right, I'm going to cover 2 things before you say something nice.
Okay.
I have our Rumble guy working on the Cozy Earth
Thank you.
Link. And as of right now, for some reason, I was talking to our podcast guy this morning. Some of you guys have reached out and said the podcast isn't uploading. Like, it's not that you can't find it. He's looking into it. But someone else said our app isn't on the App Store. So Bob, our podcast guy, said Apple had something. Not to piss Wendy off anymore about Apple. And I guess all the podcasts draw from the Apple podcast is what he was saying. So I'll look into the app when I get home today to see why. But we're working. All of it we're working on.
And thank you for letting us know. I appreciate that. It's annoying to try to do something, and it's particularly frustrating if you're not able to get through to Cozy Earth and things like that. I mean, certainly our app matters too, but if you have a problem, please let me know. WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. If you're trying to get into this buy one, get one free jams from Cozy Earth and you're struggling, let me know, and I can then forward your information onto the company. I don't want you to slip through the cracks. I want you to experience something special. And when they do something that's as significant as a buy one, get one, that's a pretty big deal. That's a big deal. Then their stuff is fantastic. Disinfectwithsniper.com, disinfectwithsniper.com, like literally everything on their website I love. So, and they've got everything. We've got spices. We've got chocolate honey, which is like, we have American flags for the 250th celebration of America. We have the ones that are $60 and the ones that are $99.99 that are embroidered. They're a little bit nicer. That's unusual. We have Sniper, Disinfect with Sniper. Sniper is this hospital grade disinfectant, which is the greatest overall thing you'll have in your house. I mean, like literally everything else you use. You can use it to clean your stovetop, to clean your toilets, all of the equipment around it, wipe off floors, handles, knobs, antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial. It kills all of the viruses and the germs that are out there right now. It's just phenomenal. Disinfectwithsniper.com, one of our favorite companies that we get to do business with. And I might as well let me bring up wendylovesgold.com. Let's see where things are with that, because it's like, it's just a little bananas to see all of the prices going up. Holy moly. 6,600 of you watching. Look, thank you. I'm glad you're here. It's and we're kind of different than other places. And if you're new to the show, where it's a radio show, but we also live stream here on Rumble for you. So we're in a commercial break right now, just kind of kibitzing. Let's see what WendyLovesGold.com. Let's see what the prices are right now. It's just been such a weird time. My computer, everything is loading so slowly. I wonder if I shut down and start back up again. Yeah, I'm not happy with where things are right now, guys. I'm sorry. Shut down. See, now I'm scared to do that.
Yeah.
I'm scared to do that. Fudge. I don't know why everything is so sluggish.
Killing it on Rumbles.
Here we go. Are we?
226.
Gold is up $2. $5,089 an ounce. Wow. Silver is down $8.70. Down to $107 an ounce. That's still crazy. Platinum is down $355 and palladium down $309. So look, and it's so great. When you go to wendylovesgold.com, it brings you up to our loading, our site. And it says, we take care of our Wendy Bell fans. And that means you discover the secrets to financial stability with gold, ship to your door free of charge, no confusing PDFs and things like that. And then all this stuff, it says, you want to call, you want to talk to us one-on-one, here's the number, 855-927-5557. And this guide, you can request this free gold guide, and it includes inflation protection strategies, real world gold savings tips, the best way to get a gold IRA, and all sorts of explainers about the precious metals types. Sent to your door, totally free of charge, and you can request one online without even talking to somebody. But I think you're going to like them. It's not that like super high pressure. Bye. They're like, you do you, and we're here. And when you're ready, we want you to like us forever. And I love that. 855-927-5557, WendyLovesGold.com.
I thought I'd tell you, I just got a text.
Oh, is it going to hurt my feelings?
Sniper is being shipped to Hawaii.
Oh, nice. Hey, man, when you've got free shipping.
Yeah, he takes a hit on that.
Oh,
just so you know. but he doesn't care.
I love that.
He
I
doesn't care.
think before we even got hot and heavy with him, he shipped to like 39 states.
He's
like,
up to 50.
Oh, he's up to all of them now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because of Hawaii and Alaska.
That's nutty. But look,
he's more geeked about that going to all 50 states that he's like,
look, if we find good products, I'm not going to sit here and try to sell you on stuff that's like me. And we've tried a couple things and they've fallen flat, like those Trump sneakers. I was super excited about those. And then we got ours and they were cheap and they smelled horrible and they were in a smashed box and they were from China. And I was like, oh, no. And I was like, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that was how it was going to play out. So we've become more savvy about these companies. And that's why when I find them that I love, I hang on to them. So I'm kind of browbeating. I'm browbeating Rumble. I want more of the Genucell. Their stuff is phenomenal, right? If I use it and I love it. Look at me, I'm 55. I have a filter on out the wazoo right now, 50% strength. But still, I love their stuff. I'm like, advertise with us, you should. So anyway, we got a packed kind of half hour here, but I think you're going to really like Adam Carolla. He is very enjoyable. He swears on his show and he's less kind of fun when he's on with Jesse Waters and what have you. But he says basically the common sense stuff that we all say and see. And it's weird that there's...
Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
You told us when it would be time to panic. Well, is it time to panic? Well, let me just tell you, folks, it's never going to be time to panic because we're never going to give up. We're not going to give up on America. America's worth it. America is worth fighting for. America's worth not giving up. And while we have that attitude of not giving up, we are constantly going to be searching, strategizing, coming up with ways to prevail. We've got the basics. We have millions and millions of Americans that are fed up. Can't wait to do something about it. There will be a series of ideas that people come up with based on dealing with the fraud that we know we have to deal with. You're not alone. You're not a singular individual all by yourself out there trying to fight these people by yourself. There are 74 million plus and growing. We're not going to give up on America.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live and hot. Well, I don't know if it's hot. It's freezing in Pittsburgh, but it sounded better than saying it's frigid in here. It's great to be with you. Okay, so if I were to tell you that the people on this signal chatter in Minneapolis, think about it as like your own secret walkie-talkie system, right? And you can talk about things that nobody else knows about, and it'll be top secret. If I were to tell you, the people on that signal chat, all the way up to potentially the lieutenant governor of the state of Minnesota, were sharing information on this ICE Watch group, with this ICE Watch group of protesters, to call out via license plate data who the ICE agents were in the community. Would you have a problem with that? Because I would. And I do. And I do in a big way right now. I want you to hear this voice, Rogan O'Handley. Like I said, its handle on X is DC Drano. We've had him on the show multiple times. And he talks about this. He's like, I've dug into this, and I want you to know this isn't some loosely organized group of people. No, this is orchestrated. This is funded by outside sources. And this is all the way to the top of the state government, working to thwart federal law enforcement, whose job is to remove dangerous people from our streets. And it's devious, it is dark, it is connected. Listen to Rogan O'Handley.
This is domestic terrorism, and it's operating as a low-intensity insurgency. We've been watching this and just kind of astounded how there's always, these people blowing the whistles wherever ICE is, and they have different undercover vehicles. They try and keep a low profile, and for some reason they keep getting spotted. But James O'Keefe was just up there in Minneapolis and had his life directly threatened. He got a text from a number, said, "We know you're in X car with this license plate from Florida. If you don't leave within an hour, you're dead." That is insane. That is not only terrorism, but it's showcasing that they have access to license plate identification. They have access to people's cell phones. They have operatives within the police departments or the state government that are providing them with this private secure data. And that shows that this is a top-down insurgency operation. And we saw yesterday, it was all over X, some great accounts, 0 Hour and Cam Higbee showed the signal chats, right? And so you've got 1,000 people in these chats every day. They have organized emojis to mean certain symbols. They have protocols, they have training manuals, and then they also have financing documents. And there's a great tweet from, I think, Data Republican showing that there's actually foreign funding from Canada, a guy named Unchuffed, his organization in Canada. So this has foreign funding. This has state level involvement. The lieutenant governor was found in there. Multiple state representatives and city councilors were found in those signal chats. That is sedition, Steve. If this stuff is leading to violence, to people's deaths, that's insurrection, that's sedition, that's felony murder, that's conspiracy. There is a whole host of charges that members of Tim Walz's staff and campaign staff are involved with. And it is no surprise that they're doing this once their fraud machine was found. It's a pure diversion play, and President Trump has to stay on the offense and take this down, because if he doesn't, and I think he will, but if he doesn't, it will spread to other cities.
The ideological subversion that Yuri Bezmenov spoke about at the beginning of the show back in like the 1970s. Boom. Why do you need to do that? You need everybody focused on something else, so they're not focused on how much you suck. Okay? How dangerous you are, how corrupt you are, how bad of a leader you are, how many pockets you're lining with whatever contracts with whomever. Obviously, people know this, right? So let's talk about this, chat, a little bit more, because it's been alleged by this independent journalist, Cam Higbee, that the lieutenant governor of Minnesota is on the signal chat and that she's chatting with other people involved in the chaos, Operation Chaos on the street, to put people like Alex Preddy and Renee Good in the crosshairs of danger. And it's not even the lieutenant governor who can respond to these allegations. Washington Times. Top Minnesota Democrat says allegations that she coordinates anti-ICE protests are not true. But you know what? It's curious who isn't saying this. Listen, Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan rejected accusations that she led a private signal chat group, a group chat that was recording the license plates and locations of ICE officers. But it's not her who's it's her office. Where's Peggy? If you were connected to something that was this dark and dirty and put so many people in danger, and you're the lieutenant governor of the state, don't you think you'd come out real quick and be like, look, this is not me. I'm not doing this. Please stop saying something. It needs to stop. Instead, it's Peggy Flanagan's office saying, no, this is not true. And this is what she said. Ms. Flanagan's spokeswoman, Lexi Byler, told the Washington Times, it's not true. She said the signal chat handle does not belong to the lieutenant governor, who is a vocal opponent of ICE. Well, where is the lieutenant governor? She's not speaking out about it. Her minions are. Curious. The only people who don't realize that America is done with the violence, done with the protesting, done with the toxic liberals, seems to be toxic liberals. And comedian Adam Carolla is on with Jesse Waters last night, and he's talking about it. He's like, these Hollywood goofballs like Natalie Portman and others who are Jewish, who are fighting back against some of the stuff that's going on, make it make sense. Here's Adam Carolla part one. He says Hollywood should sit this one out. Listen.
Hollywood should sit this one out. You idiots were just wrong with COVID like 10 minutes ago. Remember? For 4 years, they were wrong with COVID. For 4 years, they were wrong with Russiagate, Hunter Biden's laptop, Joe Biden's sharp man. That guy could do a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Remember all that? That was all out of you, Hollywood. So maybe you guys are wrong about stuff on occasion. Your batting average is horrible. So why don't you just shut up and sit one out?
Yeah, the celebrities who don't want law and order and are able to, in Hollywood, tell you what's going on thousands of miles away in Minnesota. It's sort of like, how about everybody just shuts up for a minute? I'm not interested in your thoughts, right? And then he continues. He says, Dems are cool with raiding Mar-a-Lago, right? But they're not okay with ICE agents going to track down at their homes criminal illegal aliens who they know are a danger to society. And this new anti-law enforcement, anti-ICE BS, he says, make no mistake where it started. It started with Joe Biden and the whipping at the border of migrants. Remember that whole storyline that blew up in their faces? Let's listen in.
Think about the agenda of the Biden administration. Remember like 5 years ago with the whole Haitian on horseback crossing the border, shades of Jim Crow, whipping Haitian border crossers, and then Joe Biden does a whole speech saying we're going to punish ICE and the Border Patrol. What was that about? Him taking the side of the illegal Haitians over something that didn't happen, and he knew the information on it. He had access. The photographer said it was bogus, and he wasn't whipping anybody. And so what was Biden doing in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, he was conditioning the country to demonize and hate the law enforcement people who were securing the border.
It takes time. It is a slow process to infect a group of people who apparently are more malleable, who are more porous than common sense Americans who can see what's going on. It looks like the border agent that you're saying is whipping migrants. Those are the reins for his horse. Do you not understand? It was so preposterous. But again, you have to be able to see how obvious it is to some people, but how others are so easily brainwashed into believing that there is this kind of hatred for other people. No, see, we all want, and Harry Enton showed us the majority, we want the border closed. We want the people who've come in, who should not be here, criminal and otherwise, out. And when you resist that, and you go and you protest that, and you insert yourself into that, and you've got a gun, and you've got 2 loaded mags to go with it, and you're not carrying identification or your permit, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, what the heck do you think happens? Exactly what they want. Chaos. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, remember the Trump administration wants only American citizens voting in U.S. elections, right? Minnesota doesn't want to prove illegal aliens are registered to vote. Like, why? Oh, boy, next. We haven't heard from this guy who is out of central casting, goofball, Secretary of State of Minnesota. But we're going to hear from him now because he's going to allege that it's beyond the pale that the federal government should know about the Social Security numbers, the driver's license numbers. Are you kidding? This government knows more detail about us every single day than we could possibly know. So does TikTok. Okay, TikTok knows. And then this Secretary of State is like, I just couldn't possibly in good conscience share all of this super privileged private information. It's like, dude, please. The minute you're born and somebody comes into the hospital and gives your mom a social security number for you, there's a form you have to sign, and then it goes off. And in about a month, your newborn baby has a social security number. Where does it come from? The federal government. What? So why wouldn't you want to cooperate, you big dork? Well, because we're cheating. No duh. All right, let's talk about it. Just seems so daggone obvious, doesn't it? All right, MCT Wellness, if you haven't done it yet. I don't know, Brock. I might change my tune. I say I like blueberry a lot. I'm thinking the watermelon's pretty good. It's getting low.
Hush your
too.
mouth.
I know. We're getting down. This is what I drink every day. I'm telling you what, if all you need to lose a little bit of weight is something to grab a hold of your cravings and your hunger when you hit that pivotal point, then this is your jam. This is your jam. Think about when that is. Is it 2:00 in the afternoon, after lunch, before dinner? What is it? When's your like tough time? Well, whatever that time is, if you put a scoop of this in water and some ice cubes and shake it up, it's going to absolutely crush your cravings. It's amazing how that works. It's called the healthy fat. Sounds kind of weird, but Dr. Gundry, cardiothoracic surgeon, pediatric heart transplant guy, crazy smart. He noticed he was pretty heavy back in the day, and he lost 70 pounds by drinking this. I mean, you drink this in conjunction with walking more, exercising a little bit, getting outside when you can, and eating a balanced diet. But this keeps you on your game. And he says this is slow, steady weight loss. It flips a switch in your body that allows you to dump extra calories that your body is hanging on to. It's crazy. This works. I'm just telling you. Thehealthyfat.com. And let's see. 20 million people has watched his video. That's what you're going to go to. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It opens up with this video from Dr. Gundry. And I've said this before, whether or not you buy the Healthy Fat MCT Wellness, you're going to learn so much from the video, and it's going to make things easier for you. So check it out. Significant weight loss. I'm talking about people who want to lose 40, 50, 60, 70 or more pounds. This is an opportunity to do it without getting shots. Slowly, more naturally. You're going to love it. And it tastes great. I'm just going to tell you, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy.
And the person in the Rumble chat. Yes, you can buy Sniper on Amazon.
Yep.
It's the same price. There's no reason not to support local businesses.
Yep.
And
that's what we're all
he's
about.
offering free shipping. And you know what? Amazon doesn't support this. Sniper does.
Well,
and the actual company Sniper has to sell to Amazon, and they don't like it.
Right? All right. Got a lot of papers today. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So, as a country, to be sovereign, to be free, to have your own unique individual cultural, historical identity, you have to be able to control who you let in from other places, right? You also have to control your elections to make sure that only American citizens over the age of 18 are the ones who are voting. We all know this. This is basic. This is rudimentary, right? America 101, period. And what have we seen? Look, if we didn't see what happened in 2020, a lot of us wouldn't be aware at the state level of how dark and dirty and corrupt things are. But we see it, and we have a president who believes in very basic things. One, voter identification. We have to have ID to buy all sorts of other stuff. You need to be able to prove who you are to do other things. It isn't a stretch to require people every single time they vote, show me who you are. Show me that you are a citizen. We need to get rid of the machines. The machines are corrupt. The machines are easily hackable. We've seen this. How else did you get Joe Biden? This is not rocket science, right? So why ever would it be that a Secretary of State, whose job is to maintain the voter rolls and share them, by the way, with the federal government when asked, why would it be that a Secretary of State would refuse to comply with very basic requests? Show us who your people are. Well, I want you to hear this guy. His name is Steve Simon. Spent a lot of time talking about other people in Minnesota. Let's talk about him, though. He is the Secretary of State of Minnesota. He's on with Jake Tapper last night. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're supposed to comply with these outrageous requests. Bro, you're either so deep into this into your eyeballs or you're just stupid. Which one is it? You choose.
So you oversee the voter rolls. What kind of information do they contain? What do you think Bondi is after? Are they going after undocumented immigrants who would vote, although I would guess there aren't that many of them, if any?
Well, here's what they want. They don't just want the public stuff, which anyone can get, name, address, voting history, stuff like that. What they want is very personal, private, sensitive data on millions of people, namely social security numbers, driver's license numbers, military service history where applicable. And this is already in litigation. Like, we're in court on this right now. They've asked for this information from dozens of states. The vast majority, like Minnesota, have said no. There are multiple lawsuits going on, including in Minnesota right now. So that's what makes this particularly puzzling. Why they want it? That's a good question. That's sort of key to the legal arguments here. Our legal position all along, before this weekend ransom note from the Attorney General, was that state and federal law don't permit them to get this data. And so what she's basically asking us for in this letter is to hand something over which we think the law precludes her from getting under these circumstances.
Oh, bullcrap, Steve. We know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. Stop standing there like a human cadaver. He does. He looks like an alive cadaver. He's so pasty and he looks terrified. And he's like, it's beyond the pale that Pam Bondi would want to know who our people are and who's voting. Oh my gosh. Is that how it goes, Steve? Stop cheating, you schmuck. How about that? Like the protesters, get out of the streets, you schmucks. And then this doesn't happen. It's so common sense, isn't it? It's so common sense. A man right now is able to see it very clearly as he turns his phone on himself. He's like, look, Tim Walz and Jacob Fry want to incite civil war with no regard who gets hurt, all to protect Somalians and cheating.
I want to remind everybody that this came from fraud. The governor and the mayor should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And I'm talking about draconian punishment. I'm not talking about years. I'm talking about something more severe to drive the message that anybody who tries to incite violence and create civil war in the United States of America needs to be capitally punished. Things have gotten way too far. And I think this is becoming the moderate position because everybody knows that left is crazy. Now everybody else might be caught in the crossfire because fraud happened. We were talking about $9 billion in fraud. Do you understand how insidious the fraud might be that you're willing to risk the life of your constituents to push some sort of agenda because you don't want to get caught, to move the prying eyes away from the amount of money being funneled out of your state? This is unacceptable. I don't think prison time is going to cut it anymore. Send the military over there and get that handled.
This is where common sense Merrick sees it. Every single which way we turn, right? And all of the deflections and all of the smoke screens and all of the criminality. And it's like, you're not supposed to be paying attention. It's sort of like what happened during COVID. We're going to flood the zone. We're going to overwhelm you with bad news. Oh my God, everybody's dying. Look at the body bags. It's overwhelming. Oh my goodness, how are we going to get through this? Well, there's only one thing to do, right? Roll up your sleeve. And everybody was like, say, what? What are you talking about? It's almost like we know this. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, right? I shouldn't get so fussy, but I do. We've got more. The older millennial on the winery Ilhan Omar's husband apparently made so much money in last year. Where is it? How can we get some wine? Uh-oh, buckle up. Next.
So if I get pulled over in another state,
yes,
they're not allowed to pull up my information because that's proprietary.
Absolutely right. So what? And the federal government funds that. the processes.
How can I not get on a plane? I need ID to get on a plane.
Brock,
how would they know?
Brock, you need ID to deliver a baby. Okay.
Yeah, but that's in the state you live. I'm talking about if I want to buy a drink in New York, I'm sure my license isn't valid there because how would they check it?
I don't know. Stop with these puzzling questions.
They'd be like, "Can I see your ID?" And I'd be like, "No, that's proprietary information just to the state of Pennsylvania."
Who do you think you are?
Yeah,
I know. Come on, people. All right, let's talk about Dr. Rafferty and the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Healers. I like healers. I like people who can heal. Right. There's nothing better than just medical peace of mind if you're worried about something. But if you feel something and it hurts you and it restricts your ability to live the way you want to live, we all have a pain tolerance. It goes to a level and then you're like, this is silly. I finally have to do something. Well, if a bulging or herniated disc in your body is causing you pain and you've been told you probably need to have surgery, whoa, tap the brakes. Call 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. Wouldn't you want to see if you could get a therapy before somebody's going to cut into your spine? Like, roll the dice on that one. Dr. Rafferty's intra-disc neutrosis, 98% successful, no surgery. It takes about 8 to 10 weeks. We tell you right out of the gate, if you have 8 to 10 weeks that you could be in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, to meet with Dr. Rafferty and his team at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. And you're going to meet multiple times a week and you're going to go through this therapy that is not surgical. It is not painful. There are no instruments. You're not going to give blood. Nobody's cutting into you. If this sounds like a great idea, something doable to finally get rid of the pain, 412-906-9600, Pittsburgh Disc Institute.com. It works.
Did you get a text from Toolsy?
I did. He wants me to do a BOGO jammy buy for you and him.
No, for me?
That's what he said.
He sounded real excited about the BOGO deal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just saying.
Right. Seriously, that is what my son heard. He heard he could cash in on a BOGO pajama deal. Okay.
He said could use a pair of PJs. Haven't had any since 2010.
Those were feety pajamas, Michael. I remember those.
He was wearing those at 15?
He was 10. He was born in 2000.
Oh, 2000.
Mm-hmm. I loved feety pajamas till they got hot at night. And you were like, ugh.
Yeah, then you're stuck.
No, you unzip, out they go. They're on the side.
Mine were connected all the way
They
up.
are, which is why you take them off and then go put on a t-shirt and you're like, oh, much better. Right? Or a nightgown or whatever you would wear. I don't know.
Because Brock texted, don't accuse me without proof. Let me see receipts.
What?
Someone says because Brock texted him.
No, Michael texted me first and humping for the BOGO. What did Rumble say about the problem with that?
He's working on it. He's looking into it.
Yeah. Well, I think they should give us an extra 5% off. There's so many ways for things to go wrong that when they go right, I'm like, oh, thank you. So we need to talk about Ilhan Omar a little bit. That snit, that freaking condescending, sanctimonious.
Biatch.
Wow, do I want to grab her little pencil neck, right? And be like, how dare you be
She looks
here?
like a bobblehead.
How dare you be here? And think that because you're dark-skinned and you're from another country, that nobody will criticize you for fear of being called racist. I don't care what people say about me. Hell, I am a racist, international racist, right? I lost a job because of my international racism. I'm unscathable.
I cut it where she says, gee, damn. I cut the first part of it. Why didn't she say Allah damn?
Ooh. Muslim.
Yeah. What?
They're Muslim. No, you're not a good person. And that's irrespective of your breasts, your ovaries, your skin color, your country of origin, your tax bracket, all of it. You suck.
Demanda says you're her favorite international racist.
Thank you, Demanda.
How many do you know? I only know one.
And the only reason why I say international is because Joe's uncle, who happened to be in Dubai at the time, I think, caught wind of my international racism because it made news there. I'm like, really? That I said that black people should probably stop killing each other, and that would be dandy. Damn you, racist. Okay.
And you said something nice about a server at a restaurant?
Yeah, Brandon Walker.
I do that quite a bit.
Brandon
If
Walker.
I have a good server,
Absolutely.
I'll say something.
Guy was magic. I hope he's doing something great right now. I remember when I got fired,
His work ethic.
He
it probably
texted me.
is.
He's like, I got you fired. I'm like, you didn't get me fired, babe. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, you go be you. You're fabulous.
You didn't get me fired. I've been an international racist for years.
For years. I just didn't tap into it.
So stupid.
Dude, it's so
You have to
stupid.
laugh
I mean,
about it.
after and throw her down the stairs because I do. Yes, Brock Ray, you waved your hand. Yes, you're ready to go.
I did. I'd like to throw her
What is it about Ilhan Omar that makes you feel that way, Brock?
It's just a disrespect of. It's like going into somebody's house and disrespecting them in their own house.
Walking in with muddy shoes, peeing all over the seats.
Yeah, saying I don't
eating their
like what you're
food,
cooking me.
leaving dishes in
Your
the
bed's
sink.
lumpy.
I don't like this. Right? I agree with you. I think it's a great point. You know, if you're going to come into this country, and I think we should probably, I don't know, a lot of people are having this conversation. Should you be able to have dual citizenship and be in Congress? Or should we have rules that say, you know what? You need to be an American. Oh, that's discriminatory. I don't care. I don't care. See, because when you get one bad one, makes you open the door. And if it's a bad one who enriches herself to the degree that Ilhan Omar has, and then snootily walks by you and says you're a racist if you want to question her finances, like, how's it possible that you went from 60-odd thousand net worth to over 30 million in a year? I mean, does anybody else think that's curious? Even Nancy Pelosi couldn't pull that off, right? And she's like the insider trading wizard. Well, I think enough people are saying what's going on, and we want to say, I want to see the receipts. How did you get so wealthy, Ilhan? $174,000 congressional salary barely makes ends meet in Washington, D.C. We certainly don't believe that you're loaded like that for no reason, right? It's sort of like the Secretary of State of Minnesota. You want to see our records? Who are you? See, Ilhan thinks that because she's got ovaries, breasts, and dark skin, and she comes from another country, that she can finger wag you and say, how dare you? What are you, a racist? No, I'm just tired of people coming to my country and taking a bunch of free crap and abusing the people and then sticking us with the bill and then being a jag about it after the fact. And last time I checked, you check all of those boxes. So how about you sit down, young lady? Right? The older millennial on X, he's had it too. He's like, you know what? It's curious. She's married to this guy, her third husband. Second was her brother, I think, right? And the winery that apparently has made so much money, it's weird because it's been closed for a while, and yet she just disclosed a bunch of money on her most recent congressional forms. Let's listen in.
So Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure is very obviously a lie. It's because of this company right here, Est Cru, which is described as a winery. Now, this report was filed 5/14/2025, where the value of that asset was between $1 million to $5 million, providing her an income of $5,000 to $15,000. Now, here's the issue with that. That winery ceased operations in early 2023. Again, remember, this is a financial disclosure 5/14/2025, where she is claiming that she owns a winery worth between $1 million and $5 million, providing her an income of $5,000 to $15,000. But at that point, they hadn't been open for about 2 years. So where's that money actually coming from? Because it's definitely not coming from the winery. They're not even open. That business doesn't exist. It's been closed since early 2023, yet it is listed on her 2025 financial disclosure as being worth $1 million to $5 million. That's not true. So if that was her excuse to why she was getting $5,000 to $15,000 coming into her account, where's the money actually coming from?
Well, inquiring minds want to know, and her telling us that we can't ask said questions raises even more eyebrows. Look, transparency is such a solution, isn't it? Transparency. If Minneapolis police were working with ICE and they were helping them identify and get criminal illegal aliens that are in the system and get them out of Minneapolis, none of this stuff happens. If Ilhan Omar is open about her records, if Bill Clinton is transparent about his whatever he was doing with Jeffrey Epstein, none of this stuff happens. But if you're a lousy person and you're a scumbag and you steal from people and you bang underage girls and you want to lie about it, right? Then you've got a cover up going on. And now we're on to it. Benny Thompson Johnson was all over it too. He's like, look, I'm going to do what the older millennial was doing, and I'm going to go a little bit further. He digs into Ilhan Omar's husband's winery and says these disclosures are so curious. Let's dig into her company more. Let's look at the street view of it all. Let's dig into their financials and see what we can find. Oh boy.
I just investigated Ilhan Omar's official financial disclosures, and what I found was so dark and criminal. I don't know how she gets out of this without going to jail. Have a look at this. Here's Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure from the Congressional Record, year 2023. I want to bring your attention to this company right down here, Est Crew LLC. This is a winery in Santa Rosa, California. It's not doing that well. The total value of the winery is listed at $15,000, and Ilhan Omar's barely making any money off of it at all. Hardly enough to pay a parking ticket. Okay, that's fine. Nothing really mysterious there. Businesses fail all the time. But go ahead and look at her filing for 2024, and you'll find that Est Crew Winery, the same company in the same location, is now worth $5 million. That's incredible, up from $15,000. And now Ilhan Omar's making enough to pay rent. So this must be one of the most successful companies ever. Let's go ahead and check in on this winery. You know, maybe we could buy some wine. I like wine. Why not? Let's see if we can buy some Est Crew Winery. Here's Est Crew's social media Facebook page. You'll see here that the last post, oh no, was in 2023. Wasn't this the year that they were supposed to, you know, go really big and make Ilhan Omar millions of dollars? Same thing on their Instagram, and they don't have an X.
I mean, it's baffling. It's almost like it's fraudulent, Brock. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, Kelly made a good point to me. Mm-hmm. Isn't alcohol a sin in Islam?
Oh, well.
Didn't even think about that.
Well, you know, her husband, Tim Minette, he's a white guy. So, I mean, I don't know if he's from the States. So I might not be an issue for them. But, I mean, it's really quite amazing. And it continues. It's probably something simple I'm missing here, like a place to click to buy their wine. This is where Benny tries to go to the Google Maps version. Like, let me see your street view of your winery. Well, it's an empty lot. Well, let me see where I can buy a bottle of your winery's wine. I mean, it's ballooned in value. I can't wait to see all of your delicious vintages. Oh, yeah, about that.
Is there any wine in this wine company? Is there anything about wines? Because I see like stuff about events, but like, what is this exactly? Aren't you supposed to sell wine at your wine company? Where are your wines? Oh, there are no wines. You want to know why? Because this is a fake company. Rep. Ilhan Omar's husband accused of swindling investors in their California winery. They stole millions from cannabis growers. You can see here's the lawsuit right here, saying that Tim Minette, who's Ilhan Omar's third husband, no relation, swindled his investors and defrauded them. How did Minette get this relationship? Well, the current Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, used to work for him. Isn't that curious? Keith Ellison, the same guy who refuses to look into any of the Somali fraud. So this company was sued for being a fraudulent company. And the New York Post says the exact same thing, as the House is now probing the mystery of Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing wealth.
Well, the House is in fact doing this. Isn't it so curious? It's almost like an inquiring mind with a keyboard and the wherewithal to do some tapping on it can find a wealth of information that certainly Ilhan Omar doesn't want to talk about. Meantime, speaking of House oversight, here's House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer on with Jesse Waters last night saying basically, yeah, we're digging into this. Oh boy.
Republicans turning the heat up on Ilhan Omar. They want to know how she got all that money.
What your response is to the Oversight Committee launching an investigation into your net worth, you and your husband's net worth. They're claiming that it's risen rapidly. What's your response to what they're saying?
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. All right, Mr. Comer, you were in banking before politics, right? So she suddenly in 1 year, after being worth a few $1,000s, is now worth $30 million. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, and the way the financial disclosure forms are, there's a big variation. But here's what we know: she went from zero to anywhere between $6 and $30 million in a year. Now, why is that relevant? First of all, I don't know many people that go from 0 to 30 without having a legitimate business. Her husband is in some type of finance business, but we don't know what it is. It doesn't appear to be private equity. Doesn't appear to be venture capital. So we just have questions. What exactly is the business that you're involved in? It was kind of like the same questions we asked Hunter Biden that he never could answer. But then, you know, she won't answer any questions. The Ethics Committee is supposed to investigate members. We're not supposed to investigate individual members, but this business is in her husband's name. So we can investigate her husband.
Okay, so Mr. Comer, you're investigating the business. What have you found so far?
Wasn't there also a vineyard involved here? The husband's involved in the wine business?
Yeah. You know, there's a thing called money laundering where people have businesses and they deposit, lots of cash. Again, I'm not accusing them of any wrongdoing, but she should answer a simple question. If any member of Congress is asked what business their family's involved in, I've never seen one fail to answer it. That's not a hard question. My husband has a private equity firm and he's done exceptionally well in the last 12 months. She won't answer that question. And everybody in America suspects foul play here. Right. And again, we're going to find out. It's not going to be hard to figure out what business he's in and where the money came from. So that's going to be a central part of our entire Minnesota fraud investigation, because she is the leader in Congress, in the district, in the congressional district where the overwhelming majority of the welfare fraud is taking place. Her name, as well as the Attorney General Keith Ellison's name, have been mentioned as people of interest. I'll put it like that, Jesse. So we're gonna follow through on this, and I think she's gonna have some difficult questions to answer.
All right. Well, if Omar starts painting and selling those pieces of art, then I think we're on to something.
Isn't it so ridiculously obvious? It is, in fact, as this gentleman notes. Oh, Brock, are you ready to move on? Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can get this guy in before the break. I love what he said.
Somebody else got shot by ICE. I don't give a damn. Good. Because I don't know why you're bringing a gun to agitate federal officers doing their job. What's your problem? Stay home. I gotta find something else to love, because Somalians ain't it. It's getting you killed. Stupid ass.
So everybody sees it, and the people in Minnesota who are behind it want you to be blind by the smoke. Where's more lumber? Hurry! When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, why doesn't Congress want to fix the system? Clearly because it's made them rich. A Republican congressman dumps all of his stock in United Healthcare right before it takes a bit of a dip. I wonder why. Investigate the story next. I agree. All right. I want to tell you guys about this blood test, this comprehensive blood panel, okay? It checks your metabolic health to see how well your body is turning food into energy. This is what Dr. Dubiak does. He does this this blood draw on you, right? Where you go to a Quest or whatever and you get the prescription and they do several vials of your blood. What do they get out of that? Well, first of all, if you were to do this with your doctor, it would be prohibitively expensive and your insurance would not cover it. Dr. Dubiak is so interested in helping you get down to the root causes of why you can't freaking lose weight that he wants to dig into your blood, because your blood holds so many secrets about why you lose and don't lose weight. Metabolic health. See how well your body's turning food into energy. Takes a look at your hormones, the messengers that affect everything from your mood and your sleep to your weight and your energy. Looks at inflammation. Hidden irritation in your body that can make you feel achy, bloated, just plain exhausted. It checks nutrient levels so you can spot what your body might be missing. It also tests your organ function, things like your liver, your kidneys, your thyroid. When these organs aren't working the way they should, you can feel tired all the time. You can notice skin or digestive issues, or even struggle to lose weight no matter what you try. So before you even try something, the deck is already stacked against you. Dr. Dubiak at Body by AIM 360, they know this. And their whole weight loss system is predicated on you. It's not what Sally across the street is doing, because her blood is different than yours. It's you. It's your body, your system, your organs, your metabolism, your sleep, all of it. And until you have those answers, which you get for $199 at bodybyAIM360.com. Once you get that, the door is opened. And now you see it's like cracking the code. It's amazing. 412-227-9255. 412-227-9255. Body by AIM360.com. I'm telling you. When you see what it comes up with, you're like, wait a minute. I'm intolerant to dairy products. I don't like, my body does not like gluten or what have you, or mine told me some wild things I had nothing, I knew nothing about. Tests all of these things, 65 different biomarkers, all these hormones, body by AIM360.com.
Mine said low T. And apparently for men, if you don't know, low T means you can't lose weight.
Right.
And once you start to lose weight, it naturally goes up.
And so tell me about what, how do you notice? Do you notice a difference when your testosterone changes?
You do, your normal is your normal, but when you start losing weight, and you start seeing it come off, and you realize that, well, I have more energy, I have more stamina, my joints don't hurt because I stopped eating this, and your new normal becomes your new normal. And then when you do eat that stuff, and you can feel it. So like, you don't need to wait for the scale; you can just feel it.
Remember when we ate those fries and both felt terrible? I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. We both felt like a lump of.
Wow. And I like me some fries. Dang.
Yeah, I know. You ate more than me.
Whatever.
You still wolfed on more.
Unity hater of people who do bad things at our expense, right? And so if you're a Republican, in fact, I would say I'm more off-put by conservatives or alleged conservatives who do all the dark, dirty stuff the Democrats do, but expect you to not pay attention to it. It makes me so angry. So it was interesting. Charles Payne over on Fox Business, Brock and I are both huge fans. He put something out yesterday about this Kevin Hearn guy. He's a representative. He's a Republican congressman from Oklahoma. This guy is a businessman who owned multiple McDonald's franchises before entering politics. What does that mean, Brock? If you own multiple McDonald's franchises,
He's got some serious cash.
dude is loaded, okay? Can you just be loaded and be happy about it, or is it an insatiable disease? Does it possess you? You have to have more. I don't understand that. It's nutty. So United Healthcare, Representative Kevin Hearn's $500,000 sell-off. This is curious. Breaking news. United Health shares slide after Representative Kevin Hearn sells entire stake. That's odd. United Health Group shares experienced a sharp intraday decline after it was disclosed on Tuesday that Representative Kevin Hearn had sold his entire position in the healthcare giant, valued at up to $500,000, $500,000. The transaction, reported in a recent congressional filing, triggered an immediate market reaction, with shares falling as much as 2.4% in late morning trading. Now, the significance of Representative Hearn's divestment is amplified by his influential role on the House Ways and Means Committee, which oversees what again? Oh, that's right, healthcare policy. While congressional stock trades are regularly disclosed, a complete liquidation of a major holding by a sitting lawmaker often raises eyebrows, you think, especially in a sector facing ongoing regulatory scrutiny. United Health, the largest U.S. health insurer by market capitalization, has been under the microscope following recent policy debates around Medicare Advantage and reimbursement rates. So the Trump administration, which this representative, Kevin Hearn, would know about because of his position on these committees, is talking about how much reimbursement is enough. Like, do we really need it? You've heard the president talking about all these health insurers. He's like, enough is enough. We're going to bring things down. It's outrageous. And his whole point in revamping this whole medical insurance field is because the insurers are getting loaded and you're getting lousy coverage, and he's done. And this representative knows this, sold off his stock, right? Because the administration is going to squeeze the insurance companies and he's going to get a jump on it. But he's not going to sell 50%. He's not going to sell 25, 28%. He's not going to fly under the radar. Dude's going to cut and run on all of it. Huh. How is that okay? It's not okay. United Health Group's stock plunged over 10% following the Trump administration's proposal to maintain flat Medicare reimbursement rates for insurers. The significant market reaction comes shortly after Representative Hearn, a member of the House Subcommittee on Health, sold up to $500,000 worth of United Health stock last month, raising concerns. Enough is enough. I'm tired of raising concerns. I'm tired of raising eyebrows. I'm tired of Nancy Pelosi saying, oh, yeah, it really had nothing to do with me. Paul's all about that. Paul who's having gay sex with the guy with the hammer. Okay? Stop it already. This is why these people, the swamp, the deep staters, the scumbags in Congress who make money and get rich, right? Insider trading, knowing details, knowing things about the military, knowing things about defense spending, knowing things that are coming in the pipeline, and then whispering about it to their spouse or to their advisor who happens to be their best friend or to any number of people in their circles. And then lo and behold, what happens? It's amazing how many millionaires, less than like 1% of this country are millionaires, but like 50% of Congress are or is, whatever the case might be. Why would that be? I don't know. I'm just saying. It seems so odd. Drag him up the flagpole. He's a Republican. I don't care. If you're dirty, you're dirty. And that's why you people would never vote for your own term limits. What scumbags. When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, my friends, we're going to talk a little John Fetterman, right? White, toxic liberals. literally have awakened the black community to the Democrat scam. That's one thing. And then John Fetterman, his ratings through the roof. Why? Next.
I know I've said this before. I have a friend that works in the financial world.
Yeah.
And you've met, and Wendy knows him. And he says that they follow Nancy Pelosi in Congress. He works and they follow him. They follow them. You know, he's like, and what's crazy is I have to fill out all these forms before I can, and it gets investigated before I can sell or trade or even
Willy-nilly
buy.
for them, whatever. Why did all of us have to get vaccines and they didn't?
Why are they sniffing up your skirt for $600 Venmo payment?
Keep you busy chasing your tail, worried about who's knocking on your door. Right? The Simkovich Concussion Institute, 412-366-3700. So many things can be adjusted in your face, right?
In your face.
In your face. You know, when you hear Concussion Institute, you're like, well, that's not for me. I haven't had a concussion. But you know what? Falling is one of the number one causes of death in America. It's giant. And if it doesn't kill you, it can ring you. And it can do damage that is not seen on a CT scan, X-ray, or an MRI. And so how do you know if you've been damaged? You go to a doctor, they do some tests. Sometimes it's more than that. And there are little things in your soft palate, and there's a part of your body called the sphenoid process where things Dr. Simkovich with his hands can feel and adjust, move into place over the course of a couple days and kind of get your body back to its factory reset. And then you leave, and we've seen people do this, and you're like, I feel on day one, after the first day of treatment, markedly better. I am less agitated. I'm not so sensitive to light. I feel more calm. This is great. Day two. Oh my gosh, my headaches, they're not so frequent. What's going on? I slept last night. I don't normally sleep. Day three. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm king of the world. This is realistic from people, how they feel after going to see Dr. Simkovich. And the best way to find out if you're a candidate, if they can do anything for you, one is go to SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. It's spelled just the way it sounds. Or call them. There's no cost. Call them. Ask them. 412-366-3700. Creme de la creme human beings who legit care about you. And they want you to be happy. My kind of company. That's what I'm saying. I want a steak. Doesn't that sound good? Plus, Jack got some blue cheese. People like blue cheese today. Who likes blue cheese?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I love
What time's
it.
dinner?
Nobody in my family likes blue cheese. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? I have gotten them into the world of mushrooms, though.
But
everybody likes a little garlic sauteed mushrooms with lots of.
they
kosher
also.
salt. Doesn't that sound good?
Am I allowed to criticize your children?
What? My perfect.
They're
perfect-
very. They like what they like.
Wow.
Right? They like what they like.
Like dots that aren't buffalo. Oh, go ahead.
They were very hesitant on the brisket.
Correct.
Very hesitant. Why do we want brisket?
Brisket sounds dry, tasteless, and yucky.
Until they had it.
Until they had it because you cooked it in your fantastic new grill.
And
yeah.
then now they're asking for it again.
Well, they just.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if your kid, have they ever tried blue cheese? Have they tried it?
That is a good point. That is a good point. Oh, Conley says they just made steak last night. Only in a cheese
I
ball.
didn't get invited.
Wait a minute, Kimba. You can make a blue cheese ball. Blue cheese, cream cheese. What's the difference? They are both gross. Yasmin,
Yeah.
what? Shame on you.
So what do you
Biggs is not
have with your
mine.
wings?
What do you mean? Ranch?
Blue cheese dress? Have you ever
No.
tried blue cheese with your?
Yeah, of course. But I'm persnickety about it. There's one place that I like the blue cheese for wings, and it's not in Pittsburgh. So usually it's
Well,
like
you're
some
kind
like
of spoiled
it's like
because
Ken's in a thing, and I don't like sauces in. I don't like dressings in a bottle. So
Well-
if you're gonna make it yourself, which is essentially ranch dressing with blue cheese chunks, that's blue cheese dressing.
well, you're kind of spoiled with the ranch too.
Jack makes it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, because
Or we go to Stinky's, and I'm like, "Hey, Val,
right?
hook a sister up."
Can we get the recipe?
I
Just
give
ask
her. I've got like a 50. I'm like,
Well, wow.
no, she's great. No, but I love. But Culpepper's
Stinky's Ranch. Is,
Culpepper's has the best wings in St. Louis, Missouri. So, or best blue cheese. I don't know. Does Stinky's do their own homemade blue cheese? I don't know.
I don't know. Their
Well,
ranch is
my phone's gonna light up. Paul's gonna be like, "How dare you submit that we would use store bought? Never do that." Kelly Pigeon, stop it. He's like, and just like with Hunter Biden, nothing will happen with Omar. Nothing. You hush with your negativity, Kelly Pigeon. Naughty.
Demanda says Stinky's has the best ranch ever.
Mhm.
I agree.
100%.
And I would probably dip
100%.
Dot's pretzels, the buffalo, in that.
I would dip eggs in it. I would dip anything in it. Yes.
Yeah. Paul, send me some ranch.
It's the best. Why we're not on some delivery service, I
Right.
don't know.
Can I Uber Eats just
If you've never been to Stinky's and you're in Pittsburgh, go to Stinky's
Yeah.
and just talk to me
Can-
later about it, okay?
Can I just Uber Eats your ranch?
Don't get my mouth is watering thinking about their pizza.
Oh yeah. No. Their buffalo chicken dip.
Stop it. Stop it.
I
You
mean,
know what I like too?
Kate makes a good buffalo chicken dip, but it's just like
Some people, some restaurants short you on the celery, but they give you a big handful of
and they
celery.
give you
with
those
it.
pita chip.
Oh God.
I could eat those just plain.
Paul, deliver me a spread to my house. Stat.
I don't know which open the plate.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Kevin Hearn. What a
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
The greatest talk show host out there today, Wendy Bell. She's really terrific, more terrific than anyone on radio today. I've been on a lot of talk shows, as you know, probably more than any president in history, but I've never met any talk show host as good and as fair as Wendy Bell. She's just terrific. She is right up there with the late Rush Limbaugh, and everyone in the White House loves watching Wendy on her Rumble show and on Newsmax. She's just terrific. And your producer, Brop, is not quite as terrific as you know, but I think you're the greatest. Thank you for all you do.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
We got to get the president back on the show, Brock. Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. How do we do that, do you suppose? Do we put pressure on Sean Parnell? What do we do? I mean, he's not
let's
really
just-
connected to the president.
Well, you know, he's connected to connected people.
I mean, if Sean can get Pete Hegseth to tell President Trump, look, I know
At
you
a
know,
cabinet meeting on TV.
right? How hard would that be? We're here every day. We come to work in the snow. We tell the truth about the administration.
We work as much as President Trump does.
I mean, come on. We never phone it in. We're committed entirely to telling the truth. I think my phone should be ringing very soon from the President of the United States. I'm just saying. So somebody out there is paying attention is going to be like, Don.
Right after he calls Tim Walz and tells him to straighten his crap
Right,
out,
that's right.
he's got a call with Wendy Bell.
Get it done, Tampon. Okay, so here's where we are. You know, I say on this program commonly, and it could be risky, but since I am an international racist, after all, I can say, look, Black people are not stupid, and they are tired of being treated stupidly, right? They're tired of being treated like this group of people that needs to be led around by the nose. It has to be so freaking insulting to be pandered to, right? And if white, college-educated, toxic liberals do anything well, it's pander. It's pander, and it's to finger wag sanctimoniously to believe that they know what's going on, and these poor black people, they don't know what's going on, and so we're going to help them out. How insulting. Knock it off. And you know what's also insulting? Telling us that Kamala Harris, Ilhan Omar, Jamal Bowman, I mean, Hank, what's his face? Johnson. Pile on. Maxine Waters, right? That these, Donna Brazil, that this is the best of the best in the black community. Oh, come on. There's so much better leadership out there.
How about some more Wesley Hunts?
How about Wesley Hunt? How about people who emulate our favorite people, right? The Thomas Sowells of the world, right? How about people who are more like Clarence Thomas? Clarence Thomas is phenomenal, not because he's black, but because he's a good person, because he's got morals, because like my son Bobby, who went to the freaking blood drive on a school delay day, who's terrified of needles, went, rolled up his sleeve, dealt with it because he said he would, because people said they would, because he gave you his word. That is what Clarence Thomas is. That's what we need. And you know what? The black community, they've been on to the scheme of the Democrats for years. Why do you think Joe Biden had to open the border and bring everybody in? Because the black family left the Democrat reservation. I want you to hear this. This black man says lumping all black and brown people together into your categories of control. We're finished with you. Move along.
So do y'all notice who isn't at these ICE protests / riots? Black people. Yeah. We're not going to be used anymore for your white liberal agenda that continues to use minority communities for your pet projects of trying to prove your sense of virtue and value to others. Yeah, we're finished with that. So please, stop it with these emotional ploys that are trying to beg black people to come out and join you in defending our communities. Yeah, our communities aren't illegal immigrant communities. Illegal immigrants who come into this country, they don't respect us, first of all. Our tax dollars are being wasted on them thanks to you white liberals who we've been noticing for quite a long time have deputized yourselves as the overseers of all politics related to black people. Yeah, there's no black and brown. There's no people of color, the groups and categories that you like to lump us into in order to carry forward your agendas of control, acting as overseers of our communities.
He's not done. Was that brilliant? You've deputized yourselves, the white people, the white toxic college-educated liberals. You've deputized yourselves, the overseers of politics regarding black and brown people. Knock it off. We didn't ask for that. And he continues. He says, look, we understand your scams, and we're not going to go riot with you to cover them up.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. In the midst of your riots, where you're finally figuring out that you're FAFO, you're finding out, yeah, we're not interested. We see the game, we see the scam, and we're just not interested. So stop asking us to come out there. Stop asking us to join into this. I'm glad that you're finding out that you're just like everyone else. The white privilege that you're used to experiencing, yeah, that's gone now. Especially when you go out there on your vigilantism, pretending to be superheroes, where you think that you can stop 5,000-pound vehicles with your whistles. Yeah, we're not interested. Leave us alone. Leave us out of this. We have important things to do.
I absolutely love him. Yes, of course. Common sense. Nothing there is remarkable, and yet all of it is. everybody sees. This is the common sense we get to hear from the one Democrat in the Senate. One Democrat in the Senate, John Fetterman, right? Again, how's the guy who had a stroke, who had to go to Walter Reed and deal with depression and other problems, right? How is the guy who sticks out like a sore thumb on Capitol Hill the one who seems to have the most common sense? Well, I want you to hear what John Fetterman said, the senator from Pennsylvania. He says the border under Joe Biden, it was an abject failure. He's the only Democrat I've ever heard say this. Go.
President Biden did a terrible job, and our border was effectively open at that point. Whether Biden and Mayorkas did not secure our border, and I tried to warn my party back in 2023 that this would cost us in the election, and America deserves to secure our border. I don't know why every American can't agree with that thing. And another thing, it's the truth that we should all agree to deport all of the criminals, that are here in our nation right now. And now this, for me, as a pro-Democrat, pro-immigration Democrat, I do think we need to develop a way for citizenship for the very hardworking migrants that are amidst us world now too. So as long as I do have to give credit to the president for securing our border, and now that's why order and arrest all of the criminals, and for that and the tragedy that happened, and we've lost 2 American citizens. I don't think anyone in America wants that, or that they would have voted for those things. So.
% correct. Now, how's this? PennLive.com. Fetterman's approval rating with Pennsylvania voters cracks 50% thanks to GOP support surpassing the Democrats. Are you kidding? According to a Morning Consult poll of all 100 senators in their respective states, Fetterman has an approval rating of 51%. A November poll by Real Clear Pennsylvania and Emerson College had his approval rating at 39. Since the end of 2024, Democratic support for Fetterman has fallen from 72% to 48%, while support from GOP voters has increased from 27% to 59%. Common sense. Why don't Democrats see it? Why? Why is that? In that Real Clear Politics poll, 40% of Democrats approved of Fetterman, while 45% of Republicans did. Obviously, he's angered people for his strong support for Israel and its military offensive into Gaza, for voting for Trump administration officials, backing Trump's immigration policies, and criticizing Democrats. This is what we elect people for. Tell the truth. Do what you say you're going to do. Look in the mirror at the end of the day. Who's looking back at you? Another John Fetterman soundbite, and I love this. He's like, look, I'm going to work with the president. I'm going to work and cooperate with other people in Congress and in the Senate because I represent Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania isn't 100% Democrat. Oh, common sense.
With the president or with the other side in this, very, very polarized kind of time. But, I would rather just be very honest and just kind of play it straight. I would rather be a great, honest senator than one that's just only going to play to just one side. I represent Pennsylvania, the most purple state in the country. I don't just represent Democrats. I represent 13 million Pennsylvanians, and I try to just play it straight. And I have to think I think that's my responsibility.
Okay, so ranking these 100 senators, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, right? The most popular senator. Crazy. Like, what's wrong with people? 68% approval in his state, followed by Vermont Democratic Senator Peter Welch, 66%. Democratic Senators Brian Schatz of Hawaii and Elizabeth Warren, wow, of Massachusetts is 60% each. And finally, this Republican, who's the least favorite senator for the Republicans, Brock? Who do you think? Name one.
Dan Crenshaw.
No, well, Republican and former Senate Majority Leader Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky was the least popular senator with a 63% disapproval rating and an anemic 27% approval. And yet it's so funny. All of those times he got reelected. How is it possible that Congress has an astonishing low approval rating, and yet all these idiots keep getting reelected? Huh. That must be why the Secretary of State in Minnesota doesn't want to open up his books for the Trump administration. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, so what happened to these people? Like, what triggered their derangement? You guys hear about the male nurse who says he will not treat anybody who's MAGA? We've now crossed the Rubicon. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
My bad. You said senator.
Oh, you were thinking about
Congress in general.
I didn't even pick it up that he was not even. Yeah.
Oh, you could say Lindsey Graham, Tom Tillis. And I don't agree with everything Fetterman says, obviously.
Nobody's supposed to. I don't agree with everything you say.
Yeah, but what? Wow. But you know what? Jobs, opportunities come to Pennsylvania. He doesn't care. He's like, bring the jobs to Pennsylvania.
Let's go. It's good for my people. It's
he
good
went
for
and
my
met with
state.
Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Like, that's all we ask. I'm not going to agree with you, but
he bobbied at the blood fair, at the blood drive.
yeah.
He told you what he was going to do. I will show up and I will represent the state of Pennsylvania. Okay. He has a higher approval rating than Dave McCormick, the Republican senator from Pennsylvania. And the two of them, which is a very interesting thing, work brilliantly together. Huh. You mean they communicate and they meet in the middle and they realize that maybe they've got different views on some things and we don't have to agree on everything, but we can cooperate. We can work together. We can get some stuff done. Shocker. I want to tell you, I've been using this for about a month. Joint and mobility. I have issues, with my feet, with my joints there. I had surgery and I wish I didn't. But when I exercise, I definitely get sore. If you have problems with joint pain and with basic mobility, I want you to strongly consider this from healthycell.com/Wendy. Healthy Cell is a beautiful company. I love what they do. And it's about getting a lot of similar supplements into your system, but to deliver it to you in a reasonable, innovative way. And they realized before they even started making their formulations that they needed to bypass the difficult part of breaking down a tablet or a capsule in the gut. Because as you age, stomach acid changes, pH, you have a harder time processing things, and you can end up passing the supplements before you absorb them. Healthy Cell was like, why are we doing that? Let's make it in a microgel. So it's like a yogurt almost in these little cute pouches. You easily tear off the top, suck it in, and there's your supplement. Joint health and mobility. This is one of those formulations as we get older that is extraordinarily helpful. I'll tell you what's in it. And this time I'll actually put on my glasses so I'm not fumbling. It says, become your most mobile self with a blend of potent extracts and joint lubricating nutrients in a smooth citrus flavored microgel designed to increase joint performance, comfort, and a range of motion. This is huge. And I hear Brock saying this all the time. I've got to move more. I got to stretch more. Got to do this more. Healthycell.com/Wendy. I take Focus and Recall. He's taking the bone strength.
In the REM.
And the REM. I love this company. I'm delighted they've been with us as long as they've been with us. And I'm super excited that it's because of the John Fredericks radio network, right? They took our show and I guess Healthy Cell heard us and they were like, how about it? And I was like, well, how you doing? Send me some something so I can try it. And so we did. And Brock fell in love with REM and I fell in love with Focus. And I'm like, okay, let's roll.
And for those out there, you have to remember that aren't from PA, we'll grab Fetterman any day of the week because it was either him or Bob Casey. And we knew exactly Bob Casey would not cross lines at all. You got no representation. I'll take a little over zero.
I'm impressed with him.
I'm pleasantly
I wish him well.
Pleasantly surprised.
I wish. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Man, this day is going by fast. Can you imagine? Think about whatever you do for a living. If you offer a service for someone, let's say, I mean, and this particular example is a hospital setting. But can you imagine in your neighborhood, if it's anything like my neighborhood, which is really turned into this weird, progressive, kind of fringy crowd. It's peculiar. And these are the people who will wear masks, walking their dog on a sunny day and think they're following the rules, and they are such good people. And if they see you not wearing one, they look at you and judge. And you're like, really? It's so curious. The party of hope and love and joy and peace and acceptance, and all are welcome here. It seems very exclusionary and a little wacky, doesn't it? Would you ever withhold service from somebody? Like if I fell outside some of my neighbors' houses, they would watch and laugh and not come help me. And I mean that sincerely. I don't care what you look like or how you vote. If you need help and I'm in a position to do so, I'll help you. Of course. Like that's not even a question. So you can imagine how I felt when I saw this story about a nurse, a male nurse, who's like, you know what? I hate MAGA so much that if they come into my operating room and I'm doing anesthesiology, I'm helping the anesthesiologist, well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to help you. This is a very dangerous bridge we've crossed. And it's another symptom of this wacky lack of common sense derangement that I don't understand. Why are some people so susceptible? Is it because, like Yuri Bezmenov said, the process of this ideological brainwashing, it starts small and it takes a long time so people aren't suspicious of it? Are we at that phase where it's fully infiltrated our society, where people literally go from 0 to 100 over the thought of Donald Trump or you being a MAGA supporter? Florida nurse announces he will refuse to treat MAGA Republicans, claims it's his ethical oath. The Attorney General of Florida, James Othmeyer, responds. You ready for this? A male nurse in Florida will likely lose his job after posting he will refuse to treat supporters of President Trump. An anesthesiologist, I don't think that's who he is. That's not a nurse. That's a doctor. He might be somebody who assists. Named Eric Martindale sparked a social media uproar after posting on his Facebook account that he would let MAGA supporters suffer and refuse to perform any anesthesia on MAGA clients. In other words, he is saying he will refuse to do his job because he does not like their politics. He claimed he had every right to do so because he owns all of his businesses and it's his ethical oath. Maybe he is an anesthesiologist. That's not a nurse, I don't think. I will not perform anesthesia for any surgeries or procedures for MAGA, Martindale wrote in a now deleted Facebook post. It is my right. It is my ethical oath. And I stand behind my education. I own all my own businesses and I can refuse anyone. Well, after being called out on social media for his vow to break his Hippocratic oath, Martindale deleted the post and claimed he had been hacked. Really? Now, he did not explain why anybody would bother targeting him, especially considering no one knew who he was before the post. Florida Attorney General James Othmeyer responded to Martindale's disgusting comment on not treating MAGA Republicans by paging the Florida Nursing Board, likely to urge them to cancel Martindale's license. Here we go again, paging Florida Nursing Board, Othmeyer wrote. Oh my. The incident bears similarities to one involving a previous nurse in Florida last week. Lexi Lawler, a labor and delivery nurse at Baptist Health Boca Raton, graphically wished that Caroline Levitt, who's pregnant, suffered traumatic injuries during childbirth. This is why I started today's program talking about my youngest son. I have hope. A lot of people in this young generation, they have values, they have morals, they have character. They want to look in the mirror and like who they see. There are a lot of people in this country who apparently either don't mind the reflection or don't see what we see. To deny someone medical assistance is disgusting. To wish physical harm. Really? When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, oh boy, the Wall Street Journal editorial board, they stepped in a giant poo sandwich. They're out there in the snow trying to get it off their shoes. Ain't working. Tell you what happened. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Paul Dowds from Stinkies. Whatever you want. Ha ha ha.
He sent me one saying, I'll bring you some when the roads are clear. I said, I'll see you next week. They haven't even touched mine. How sad is this? Can I vent for a second?
Yes, you can. Yes.
So I did a portion of the road with my snowblower, and I said to my neighbor, you're more than welcome to use it because his girlfriend is in the medical field, so she can't.
She's got to get there, yeah.
And he ended up shoveling out the intersection and then the top of the road. No, he didn't use my snowblower, and I'm like, my man, let me get some use out of it. I paid to have it fixed.
Right.
But how bad is it? It snowed on Sunday.
Mm.
Not even one plow. Not even one.
On your street.
On my street. Not one. And okay, maybe you don't salt it. At least make it passable, right? But it takes people shoveling the snow I feel like I should go give him some of my taxes. Here, you did more than the city.
Well, it's like if you live in Pennsylvania, or Pittsburgh has a ton of city streets that are cul-de-sacs. There's just a lot of dead ends, a lot of cul-de-sacs. They just drive right by you. You're insignificant if you're on one of those.
Yep.
And so literally the truck comes by, plows all of the snow, and then plows in the cul-de-sac. So there's like a wall of snow, and you're like, what the? And then the rock stars here in Pittsburgh who are horny for the, traffic mitigation bull crap, the roundabouts and the cones and all the those stupid things. Yeah. So they go down the road and those cones are there and they plow it into the cones, which then freeze it in a wall and block off all of the pedestrian traffic. You can't possibly use you're like, great thoughts.
Yeah. Whatever happened to making sure crosswalks are
liberal
clean?
morons. And then they do it at
Handicapped access.
They did it by the hospital, Shady Side Hospital. It's got all these stupid cones. And so how does the ambulance get where it needs to go on the snow? We'll worry about that later. I got to go potty. I have to talk about Morgan's Fitness when I come back. I'll be right back.
Also, where our tax money goes is nuts, because they could have said prior, this is the proactiveness. They could have said, we're going to have a state of emergency, which then gives them the funds to say to John Smith's plows, listen, we're going to let John Smith and his independent company go plow the secondary and tertiary roads. And Pittsburgh, who loses 40% of its trucks, if no one's fired over their maintenance department not being able to keep trucks on the road, that's ridiculous in itself. But let the independent guy go, and they're going to make some money. They're going to take it. No, let's not think ahead. Let's wait till there's too much snow. The trucks are breaking down. Then we'll do a state of emergency. And then a real kick in the balls is that our taxes just went up again. Like what to hire more bureaucrats to do what? How about, I don't know, fire one of the bureaucrats that we don't need, i.e. Josh Shapiro's daughter, who's on Corey O'Connor's team. Fire her. Buy a truck. Probably cost you the same amount of money. Might be able to buy 2 trucks. Who knows what she's making? It's frustrating when you can't go to work. Not that you don't want to go to work, that you physically can't go to work because they can't do their job.
Is it freezing in there?
Yes.
God bless America. I want to tell you, look, before Mother's Day and before Father's Day, like if you have kids who live out of state or they're in college and you don't see them commonly, what a wonderful thing to do to give yourself 90 days with Kelly Morgan to lose weight, to firm up your body, and to get on track so that when you see them before a holiday that you might normally get together, maybe before graduation, whatever it is, you could be significantly smaller. This is the 90 Ignite program from Kelly, and it's done virtually. So you can go and do it with her in her 4 different gyms in Western Pennsylvania. But if you live somewhere else, MORGAINZ, moregainsfitness.com. There's a big button you can hit. Button. It says 90 Ignite. Click it. Add your name if you're serious. 90 days. Commit to it. And you will, when you next see people you love, you'll feel very proud of yourself. And they will be like, say what? It's completely at your fingertips. moregainsfitness.com. She's awesome. You will love Kelly. She could kill you with her hands, but, she wouldn't. Probably.
She kicked mine.
Yeah, she could.
There ain't no lying about that.
She's freaking awesome. Love that girl. Ugh. Program, I do pay out the wazoo for a subscription to the Wall Street Journal. I used to for the New York Times, but they've been just so flagrantly discriminatory, biased, Democrat. It's just, I can't do it anymore. The Wall Street Journal, I pay a lot of money for, so I can read you articles like this. So the editorial board, I don't know, Brock, while I'm doing this, maybe you can see if there's a list of who's on the Wall Street Journal editorial board, because I'd be interested. They wrote an opinion piece. And, people who still think the Wall Street Journal is relevant and is center or fair or balanced, oh, golly, wake up. The articles, the opinions, the Peggy Noonan has been a writer that I know I followed for a long time till she got weird. But I want to read you this because this is where it makes no sense. In this editorial board discussion about what's been going on in Minneapolis, specifically with Alex Preddy and his death, is completely out of line. And they've gotten absolutely excoriated in their comments. How one column in the Wall Street Journal has blown up to more than 5,000 comments. Oh my. You cannot pay for engagement like that, all right? This is what it says. Time for ICE to pause in Minneapolis. Alex Preddy made a mistake, but he was not a domestic terrorist, all right? So this is from the Wall Street Journal editorial board. Here's how it goes. When Donald Trump visited the Journal in October of 2024, I guess it's the Journal if you're an insider, he was asked how he'd implement his mass deportation policy to avoid appearing to be cruel and inviting a political backlash. First of all, I'm sorry. I don't care about your feelings, right? Stop welcoming millions of people here, right? It's that simple. Cruel and backlash to his administration. How did President Trump respond? Well, the editorial board says his answer was surprisingly nuanced. Pay attention to the words, surprisingly nuanced. He said he had to deport illegal migrants because, quote, we can't handle these people coming in right now. But the interest from the heart, yeah, that's something that's got to be done, right? I'm not going to do that, separate families. I can't do that, okay? Thank you. Really good question. I mean, there's some human questions that get in the way of being perfect, and we have to have the heart too, okay? 15 months later in Minneapolis, the board writes, there isn't much heart in immigration and customs enforcement. The Saturday shooting of Alex Preddy as he lay on the ground surrounded by ICE agents is the worst incident to date in what is becoming a moral and political debacle for the Trump presidency. Is it? Did Trump open the border or did the Democrats? Did Trump ruin the economy or did the Democrats? Did Trump cause 9% inflation or did the Democrats? Did Trump cause sky-high gas prices over $5 and $6 a gallon in some states or did the Democrats? Please. The editorial board shows you its bias before they even start pissing you off. It continues. Videos of an event aren't always definitive, but this is how it looks to us. Here we go. Armchair quarterbacking from wherever the Wall Street Journal is located, right? It ain't in Minneapolis, and these people weren't there. Preddy attempted foolishly to assist a woman who had been pepper sprayed by agents. Multiple agents then tackled Preddy, and he had a phone in his one hand as he lay on the ground. An agent discovered a concealed gun on Preddy and disarmed him. An agent then shot Preddy, and multiple shots followed. That's their assessment. That's what the Wall Street Journal editorial board from their offices somewhere else, probably New York, tell you what happened. That's what they say happened in Minneapolis on Saturday. The Trump administration's spin on this, it continues, simply isn't believable. Stephen Miller, the political architect of the mass deportation policy, called Preddy a domestic terrorist. He was a nurse without a criminal record. Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, said the fact that he carried a gun, and she said 2 magazines, and she said is in quotes, as though it's to be doubted, meant he, quote, arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. When you go to an environment such as we've seen in Minneapolis, and you go, and it is your constitutional right to bear arms, it is also mandatory for you to follow specific rules. And responsible gun owners don't fart around with the rules. They tell agents that they're armed, right? If you get pulled over, what do you say? Officer, I have a firearm in my glove box. I want you to know before I reach and you see it. Alex Preddy went without ID and without his concealed carry license, with 2 magazines and a loaded firearm. For what other reason, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know. But unlike the Wall Street Journal editorial board, I'm not going to tell you what his motivation was. I think we should probably let the investigation play out. They continue. Preddy had a license to carry a gun, which was legally concealed, not carried in his hand, as some claimed. He was carrying his phone. To hear the ardent gun right advocates of the Trump administration claim he had malicious intentions because he carried a concealed weapon is bizarre. Preddy made a tragic mistake by interfering with ICE agents, but that warranted arrest, not a death sentence. Spoken like people who are not out in the field. Spoken by people who've never been on the streets with people throwing rocks, with people exposing who they are, doxing their families, threatening their children, and identifying their cars via license plates whose databases have been leaked to them by people in law enforcement. The agents, it continues, may say they felt threatened, but it's worth noting the comments over the weekend by police around the country who say that this isn't how they conduct law enforcement. Isn't it curious how everybody has an opinion? Have I told you one way or another who was right and who was wrong? No, I haven't the foggiest notion, and it would be idiotic for me to opine. However, we can see circumstances that could be thwarted, decisions that can be made, as we've said repeatedly with George Floyd. Either many ICE agents aren't properly trained, the Wall Street Journal board says, or they are so on edge as they face opposition in the streets that they are on a hair trigger. Either way, this calls for rethinking how ICE conducts itself, either in Minneapolis, especially in Minneapolis, as tensions build. Wow. After the shooting of Renee Good 2 weeks ago, both Minnesota Democrats and Mr. Trump had a chance to calm the furies. Mr. Trump instead sent 1,000 more immigration officers on top of the 2,000 already there. Minneapolis has only 600 police officers who weren't doing their jobs. Editorial board. Governor Tim Walz could have urged his citizens to avoid confrontations with ICE. Instead, he made a video urging them to go into the streets with phones and film ICE agents, whether or not they're performing lawful searches under federal immigration law. His rhetoric is incendiary and describes ICE as a lawless terrorist operation. Another tragedy was inevitable, and there will be more if this continues. That's it? That's all you're going to give the freaking Democrats who stoke the division, the Wall Street editorial board? Are you kidding me? Whether he likes it or not, most of the burden now lies with Mr. Trump as the president who controls ICE. He would be wise to pause ICE enforcement in the Twin Cities to ease tensions and consider a less provocative strategy. Yes, many on the left would conclude that their civil disobedience has paid off, but Mr. Trump can still pursue enforcement with a smaller force and a strategy aimed at criminals, not at hotel maids and gardeners. Wow. Mr. Trump and his advisors could also help themselves and this country by explaining what they're trying to do and sounding conciliatory. What the hell do you think they've been saying? Why am I paying for the Wall Street Journal? That is a good question. This is backfiring against Republicans, they write. The violence in Minneapolis has erased the state's welfare fraud from the headlines, which no doubt pleases Mr. Walz. It's also given Democrats in Washington an excuse to shut down the government a second time over the Homeland Security funding bill. Mr. Miller's mass deportation methods are turning immigration, an issue Mr. Trump owned in 2024, into a political liability for Republicans in 2026. Do they want Harry Enton's phone number? Because Harry Enton just proved to us everybody's down with immigration, 56% at a minimum. Finally, Americans don't want law enforcement shooting people in the street or arresting 5-year-old boys. That's not what happened. We've already gone over that. See, I do more due diligence on this program than the freaking Wall Street Journal editorial board. The president who said, "You have to have a heart in enforcement," ought to show some. So what do you do, ladies and gentlemen, when the media has been co-opted? There's nothing fair or balanced about that. They couldn't have even gotten the facts straight. Brock, what did you learn about the editorial board? Anything fun about them? I'm going to go with they're probably all white, college-educated, toxic liberals.
I don't know any of the names.
How many are there? Probably about 10. And they write that.
10.
So when the media realizes, oh no, nobody's buying our papers. Nobody's watching our newscasts. Oh no, why ever could it be? Bing, 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 bing. 5,000 comments at 6 this morning. I can only fathom, where is it now? 5,052. This is the state of media in this country. It's all so damn disappointing, isn't it? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, we're going to listen to something that I think is probably the most important sound of the day. All right? I'll let you decide if you agree. Next. I like Joey Jones here an awful lot. Let's see what our timing is. I'm gonna dump Rubio. He'll be the one that doesn't make it. But we'll do Joey and we'll do the man in his car and we'll call it a day.
I think the Joey Jones sound is.
Here you have a guy who had his legs blown off.
Well, aside from that, he makes a lot of good points, and you took a portion of it. And there's a longer. I mean, if you're on the locals page and you click on the rundown, you can see the link where it's the whole thing. It's common sense. It's just common sense. Like, if you want this, then don't do this. If you want
that the Wall Street Journal editorial board said the Trump administration is arresting 5-year-olds. They were pursuing a criminal illegal alien who tried to strangle his wife.
And who ditched his 5-year-old.
So he runs from his vehicle, freezing cold temperatures, and leaves the kid behind. So agents take care of the child, get him fed. And if you've seen any videos of what under Joe Biden and Barack Obama, what deportation centers and holding areas look like, it's literally cages with foil sheets. The little boy was taken to an environment where he could play basketball, he could play games, there were other people to talk to, he got fed, he wasn't treated poorly. No, duh, who would treat him poorly? He might not want to leave. And then they went with him to the mother's house, and the mother refused.
No bueno.
The mother refused to take him back. So, where's the effing editorial board on that? They didn't even try. I was talking to my trainer this morning, Mary Beth, about this. About, this stuff with this Alex Preddy guy. And she's like, what do you think happened? I'm like, I think there needs to be an investigation. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened. You could see both sides of it. I haven't the foggiest notion. And I am in no position to judge. She was like, that's weird. A lot of people seem to know exactly what's going on. And they take to the cameras and they're like, ah, rah, 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 rah. And you're like.
I agree with you to the point that I don't obviously know what happened. I wasn't there. But just for the common sense of it, to say, why would you take a gun, not carry your ID? Like, it's an illegal. Joe Jones says
Ashley
this.
Babbitt wasn't armed.
Yeah.
She was 120 pounds. And Michael Byrd shot and killed her.
Point blank.
And didn't get reprimanded. I think he got a job promotion. Honest to God.
Or his wife opened a daycare.
Oh, that's right. Yes. She's busy working in, where are they from? I think Virginia. Yeah. Operating a day for 17 freaking years.
I go back to the Zoom or the thing on the Fight Ice thing last night. And where they're like, keep your hands visible. What's the one thing when we went and met Trump?
Yeah, they said
we didn't have guns. They knew we didn't have guns because you couldn't get in. And they're like, keep your hands out of your pockets. Keep your hands visible.
Can have nothing on you.
Put your phone in your pocket. Keep your hands out of your pocket.
That's why in my picture with the president, I've got this big bulging left butt cheek. And it's my phone sticking out of my pocket. Because they're like, you can't have that on you. And I'm like, and it's like, fantastic. Speaking of, oh, won't you take me home? And the first is Joey Jones from Fox. He is an obvious Second Amendment advocate, as am I. He says that there are very basic things. Alex Preddy had a right to carry that firearm, but he broke the law in so doing. He didn't follow the rules, and all bets are off when you don't know the rules and you don't know how to follow them.
You have the right to carry a weapon to defend yourself, not the privilege. It is a right. Those rights come with restrictions. I think you would understand that more than anyone at this table. One of those restrictions is you have to have your ID and your permit on you. We don't know. Current reports are he didn't have either one of those on, at which point he's not carrying legally. But number two, even beyond that, with the right to carry a firearm comes the responsibility to do it correctly and to do it with foresight and to do it understanding the situation you're walking into and what could happen once you get there. Just about every state offers a class on that. And if you carry your firearm, you should take that class. And if your state charges you for it, you should go protest for that class to be taxpayer funded because it is a right. So that's important. We can talk about policy all day long. There's only one person in this world that could have absolutely prevented Alex Preddy from getting shot that day, and it's Alex Preddy. Doesn't mean I think he should have been shot. I don't think it was necessary whatsoever to shoot Alex Preddy to save a life. But I get to watch that incident from behind Alex Preddy, not as one of the arresting officers and not as potentially the person that I believe from looking at the video did shoot him. Why does he have 10 rounds in him? Because if you have to shoot anybody once, you better shoot them enough to kill them, because if you're shooting somebody, you think they're trying to kill you. Every police officer in this country is taught that. If you want to change that, go lobby to have it changed. Why was he shot? He was shot because of the reasonableness clause, the reasonableness doctrine. The Supreme Court decided this, which is the fact that if you are a police officer conducting police work and someone has, and it's explicitly outlined, someone has resisted arrest, violently or not, disobeyed orders, and shown the means to harm you, then you have the ability to protect yourself.
I think it's a phenomenal point, and he goes even further into detail. Brock, jump in here real quick. Brock jumped into this Indivisible No Kings Resist ICE training seminar last night, and you say the first 5 things that they say you should do if you're going to protest, he didn't do. Alex Preddy did not.
Yeah, they showed a slide with 6 things, and the one thing that it didn't pertain to him was don't use your phone while driving, but they said show your hands, keep distance, don't interact with the police. All these things that could have been avoided by their common sense, not the police. This is what No Kings people were saying.
You know, and what's interesting about that Wall Street Journal editorial piece, yes, they say Alex shouldn't have done this or blah, 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 but the hammer comes down on the law enforcement officers who are supposed to be enforcing the freaking law. And who's preventing them from enforcing the law? The people in the street who've been ginned up by Tim Walz, who clearly, I think, wants to make a deal. You think he'd sacrifice Ilhan Omar for his own hide? Hell yeah, I think he would sacrifice his kids for his own hide. This is a guy in the car, all right? This is just a guy. He's got a beard. He's sitting in his car. And he says, look, there's collateral damage with war. Do Democrats care about that? And he's talking honestly about why 2 people are dead in Minneapolis.
You know what really happened in Minneapolis? Why 2 people are dead there? What is the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud? Collateral damage. It happens in war. Is Minneapolis a skirmish in a much larger war? The war on the West? Illegal immigration got completely out of control. Untold millions crossed, no assimilation, parallel communities, lawlessness spreading. That's a cultural emergency. When Trump sends federal agents into cities like Minneapolis, that's not random. That's a justified extreme response to an existing extreme situation. The order to ICE is clear. Round up criminal illegals, court-ordered deportations, people who broke the rules that allowed them to stay. This all started years ago when borders stopped mattering and Obama and Biden opened up the floodgates. Now you drop thousands of agents into a combustible situation. Panic meets authority. Anger meets force. Things explode. 2 people died. That's tragic. But the deaths are indeed collateral damage. That truth stands no matter what the investigation concludes. 2 tragic deaths cannot be allowed to derail saving a nation. Because if we don't act now, there won't be anything left to save. And that would be the real madness.
Wow. Right? So just when you think you're on your own little island and nobody sees the world the way you do, you're all alone. Alas, common sense exists, and it's everywhere. Thanks for being a part of our program. 21 hours from now, we're going to do it over again. Are you going to be here? Grab a friend. Come back. Stay a while. Thanks for being a part of our family. Love you guys. Peace.